I'm Doug Brown. Saturday's Indiana-Purdue game for the Old Oaken Bucket has been canceled with increasing COVID-19 cases at both schools. ESPN's Heather Dinich and Adam Rittenberg report the Big Ten is expected to change its eligibility policy for teams in the conference championship game. A minimum of 6 games played was needed. Ohio State has played 5, but is hoping to be selected for the title game against Northwestern. Duke coach Mike Krzyzewski is wondering if college basketball should be played during the pandemic.
I don't think it feels right to anybody. I mean, everyone is concerned. So we made an assessment and there was a consensus. It wasn't like well planned that we were going to start November 25th.
Duke is 2-2 after a loss to Illinois last night. Broncos cornerback A.J. Boye gets suspended for 6 games for violating the NFL's policy on performance-enhancing substances. He'll miss the last 4 games this year and the first 2 next year.
With thousands of locally owned Napa stores across the nation, chances are that wherever you call home, they do too. So whether you stop by a local Napa Auto Parts store, Napa Auto Care Center, or visit Napa online, you can count on Napa know-how.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
I appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Woo!
It's hump day.
All right, everybody.
What day is it, Mike?
Let's hump.
Hump day.
Gilbert confirmed opt-out.
It's hump day.
Brees likely to return next week.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Whiskey Wednesday, y'all.
Hump day.
Josh Innes next hour.
It's hump day.
Oh, my God, that is going to be a disaster.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
I mean, he hates the Eagles.
Hump day.
He hates Philly.
It's hump day.
Because he got fired there.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
But he's going to join us on the show to talk about the Saints who he loves and the Eagles who he still covers and hates.
Hump day.
It's going to be a disaster.
It's hump day.
All right. Talk some Big Ten, those frauds. Do that next hour.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
And Russ Mitchell, hour 3.
Hump day.
All right. Let's get a rolling, y'all. Let's get a rolling. So, Ed Ogeron today did confirm that Arik Gilbert, after yesterday telling Jordy and T-Bob on Off the Bench that he was considering opting out, Ed Ogeron did update that today on the SEC Coaches Teleconference on Wednesday morning.
Arik and I had a good conversation yesterday. He told me he was opting out. He said his body was hurting. He had some things he had to take care of. And do I think we have a chance of getting him back next season? Yeah. Is there a chance of him transferring? I don't know that. He had told me he's transferring, but obviously we're going to re-recruit him, and obviously we wish him the best. Take care of the things he has to take care of, and would like him to be back with us next year.
There have also been questions about freshman edge rusher B.J. Ojulari, and Ed Ogeron addressed that today.
And his teammate from Marietta, B.J. Ojulari, is he still with you? Is he gonna play this week?
Yes, he will.
Okay, so B.J. Ojulari still with the team, expected to play this week. So they're from Coach O. All right. I want to clarify my stance on the Gilbert situation. Because what I said yesterday, I think, has been misunderstood by some, not all, but some. And that's on me as a communicator. I have to be very clear about my stance so there isn't any confusion, but I think there was. And I also understand that none of us lives on an island and nobody lives in a vacuum. And so if somebody's thinking something, there are others. Remember how this went, okay? Monday night, news starts to break that Arik Gilbert is homesick and considering a transfer. That's what we heard first from multiple outlets. 247 Sports, The Athletic, etc. 12 hours later, Ed Ogeron's on off the bench with Jordy and T-Bob and says Gilbert's considering opting out because his body hurts. My point is, and we did the BS montage yesterday, if you were here, you heard it. My point is, if you are a rational thinking human and you see conflicting reports like that, which are so dissimilar, and then the one from the head coach is the kid has his body hurts and he's considering opting out. Y'all, you play football. Your body hurts. The fact that his mother came from Georgia to here to be with her son because his body hurts? It doesn't make sense. That's the point I was making yesterday, which is I've heard a lot of different things going on with Gilbert. And I think, and because no one in particular, Ed or within Gilbert's circle, has said them openly, I don't think it's fair to discuss what I've heard. But some of the things are serious. I'll put it to you that way. If you've ever listened to my show, I'm not the guy that's ever going to come and crush an 18-year-old. That's just not really my MO. If you're a pro, okay. College athletes, amateur athletes, I just tend to side with them. I mean, if it's transfer waivers, if it's name, image, and likeness, if it's opt-outs, I just tend to side with the young people. My point is, and will continue to be, I have no doubt that there's things going on with Gilbert that are requiring him that are taking him away from the team right now. The explanation that Ed Ogeron gave made it worse. I think Ed had a good intention in saying Gilbert's body hurt and he's thinking of opting out. I think his intent was good because he's protecting the player. And that's fine. That's well within not only your right, but I think your obligation as the head coach. You don't have an obligation to the outside world. You have an obligation to your team first, and certainly young people. If there's something going on there that's more sincere, then clearly address that, and it's within their right to disclose what they want to disclose. The problem is when Ed Ogeron goes publicly and says Gilbert's body hurts and he's considering opting out, and his mom came in from Georgia, the optics of that are terrible, such that you've got Devin White and Greg Gilmore and Braden Fajoko and lots of former players looking at this going, huh? Because it doesn't compute. It doesn't make sense. And it's not true. It's just, I don't mean to be so bold as to say Ed Ogeron's a liar, but it's just, I'm not calling him a liar. I'm saying it's clear he's protecting his player, and that's fine. Again, yes, absolutely protect your player. The problem is the manner in which he presented it made it worse for Gilbert. There's a million different ways you could have handled this. You could have said, Arik Gilbert is dealing with a personal matter and he did not practice on Monday. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. There's a lot of ways this could have been handled. And that would have been understandable and acceptable. That's not going to cause the melt that it did on Monday on the heels of the Alabama loss and other opt-outs. That's the problem. One of Ed's biggest weaknesses is that he's not tactful. That needed to be a well thought out, tactful approach in how you presented that if you were going to discuss it. And it wasn't. And this has been a problem for as long as Ed's been the coach. Sometimes he's honest almost to a fault sometimes. And whenever he needs to be decidedly tactful in the way he presents something, he just isn't. That's not a strength. And that's okay. Some people have strengths. We all have strengths and weaknesses. That's a weakness of his, which is why before he does an interview or goes onto a press conference or a teleconference, he needs to be prepped on how they're going to handle some of those things and answer those. And I think the way he did it made it worse for the kid. So listen, whatever is truly going on with Gilbert, and I've heard the gamut from a lot of different people that I trust, whatever is going on, my hope for him sincerely is that he gets in line what he needs to get in line because he is a magnificent talent. I think we all see that. He's the highest rated tight end in the history, 247. I mean, he is Kyle Pitts in 2 years. He is O.J. Howard. I mean, he is that guy. And I hope he's back at LSU and has an awesome career. And I hope he gets in line what he needs to get in line. But all of this conversation that has been bubbling up for the last 48 hours or 36 hours around Gilbert is largely because of something we've seen that's been systematic and systemic within this program for too long, which is that they suck at public relations. They're so bad at it. The one guy you had on staff who handled that, Robert Munson, you just let go. Anyway, so I wanted to clarify because a lot of the reaction to my stance yesterday was, man, Gilbert's a quitter. Gilbert's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I said yesterday. That's not what I'm saying today. I'm saying whatever it is that took Gilbert away, I hope that all works out. Ed Orgeron and LSU need to be better about how they craft those messages publicly because it made it worse for the kid. And now LSU has to go to Florida without their best receiving option. Kayshon Boutte, come on down. As if it wasn't your day the other day. But this time, kid, hang on to the ball before you cross the goal line. Like, always and forever. Like, hold on to the ball. Forrest Gump it, man. Like, run through the tunnel with the ball before you drop it. All right, it's after further review. Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet. Dine in or carry out. 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. We will knock out a quick break. When we come back, Drew Brees got an update. Sean Payton met with the media today, gave a radio interview yesterday. We'll let you hear what Sean Payton had to say about Brees, his potential return, reports from Ian Rappaport, among others. We'll get to all of that. Glad you're hanging out here on a Monday edition. A hump day. Let's please not go backwards. Already the longest week ever. On a hump day edition of AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money. Y'all, we're headed toward Christmas. We're headed toward the new year. Two things are critical here financially. Number one, a lot of people take on enormous amounts of expenses and debt during the holiday season. Number two, a lot of people around the new year make their financial resolution or their New Year's resolution to get their financial house in order. Let Insurance Network of Louisiana be one of those steps. We all have insurance. We all have to have insurance on our home, on our vehicles, on our boat or RV or motorcycle or camper, whatever it is. And so many of us are overpaying and underinsured. Insurance Network of Louisiana shops independently for you, dozens of the top-rated companies in the world to get you better coverage for less money, and it is free for them to shop. 293-0450.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
One thing you can always count on this time of year is Happy Honda Days at Richards Honda. With year-end clearance prices on every vehicle in stock. Save thousands on some of the best, most awarded vehicles on the road. And shop the way you feel comfortable. at the dealership, or online with home delivery. So everyone can take advantage of happy Honda days. No wonder people call Richards Honda the smart choice. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, y'all, a reminder, tomorrow is the day. It is the Calandro's Rare Whiskey Raffle. All money raised going to the 4Kids Foundation. Taylor Calandro will be with us here in about 30 minutes from right now for our regular scheduled Bourbon Dictionary segment. So if you got booze questions, get them in. But excited about this. It's the 9th annual Calandro's Rare Whiskey Raffle. All of the money raised going to the 4Kids Foundation, which benefits Louisiana Children's Charities. It's virtual this year. I'll be hosting in studio with Taylor and Mark Calandro. We'll be streaming live on the ESPN Facebook and YouTube pages. That's Thursday after AFR around 6:30. We'll go live, but you have to go into the store to buy your raffle tickets. Tickets are $10 each. The more you buy, the more you save. I think maybe it's like you can get 25 for $200 or something like that. Anyway, Taylor will be with us later to tell you, or go to the store and you'll find out. But anyway, buy your tickets for the raffle. Raffle is tomorrow. And also in the store at the Perkins location, they have silent auction items like an autographed Joe Burrow jersey. They've got a 2-night stay at the Nopsey Hotel in New Orleans. They've got gift cards to Bowie Outfitters and other great items as well. So go bid on the silent auction items at Calandro's. Remember, all the money raised goes to the 4Kids Foundation, which benefits great Louisiana children's charities. All right, it's after further review. Glad you are here with us. Taylor later this hour. Josh Innes, about 45 minutes from right now. Josh, formerly of WIP in Philadelphia, and now does podcasts, which mainly caters to the markets that he was in, both Philadelphia and Houston. So still very close, covers the Eagles. So we'll get a preview of Saints-Eagles from the other sideline in about 40 minutes from right now. We'll look forward to that. We do have an update on Drew Brees and his progress. In case if you missed it, Ian Rappaport of NFL Media earlier today tweeted an update on Drew Brees. And it's pretty pretty good news, I would say. Brees, while not not expected to play this week, it looks like more likely a return next week for Drew Brees. Here's Rappaport's tweet from this morning. A Saints quarterback, Drew Brees, progressing well in his rehab from a lung puncture and fractured ribs. Won't practice much, if at all, today. He's eligible to come off IR now. They could ramp him up Thursday to see how he feels, but a more realistic target to play has been Week 15. So Week 15, of course, next week is the home game against Kansas City, and that's the one that we all sort of pointed to when all of this started for Brees. And I will reiterate the point that I've made several times. And I understand Drew Brees, if he is available to play and cleared medically, he's going to play. He went through the same thing a year ago. He had the thumb injury. He missed 5 weeks. The Saints were playing the Cardinals in the Dome, followed by a bye. Brees could have taken essentially 2 more weeks off. They were 5-0 without him. They were playing the Cardinals, who had a rookie quarterback and weren't very good. Brees returned. Saints blew out the Cardinals, 38-3 or whatever it was. But he could have had that week and the bye before returning against Atlanta. If Brees is available to play, he's going to return. But you give him another week, I think that just serves him and the organization so much better, because this is not about beating the Eagles in Philadelphia on Sunday. This is about winning the Super Bowl, and you can't lose sight of the big picture goal. The Saints are not winning a Super Bowl without Drew Brees. There is no sense in bringing him back and potentially furthering or re-aggravating any of those injuries and delaying any potential return at all this season. You've already clinched a playoff spot. You are in the tournament. You've clinched a spot. You're 1 win away from clinching the division. So you are in an amazing spot whether Brees plays this week or not. So give him the time he needs to make sure that he is 100% ready to return to be the best version of Drew Brees he can be. Now, Sean Payton was on Sirius XM NFL radio on Tuesday, number 3, please, and updated. So this was Tuesday late morning. He updated Brees.
He's doing well. We pretty much see him daily here. He's extremely diligent with all the specifics, and part of it's time. I saw him this morning. Hopefully it's sooner than later, though. I think it's going well.
So Sean Payton with a little brief update on Drew Brees, which obviously he doesn't give much when he has the opportunity to do so. Now, the flip side of it is, of course, Taysom Hill is going to start, and they've got 2 other quarterbacks in the building with Taysom and Jameis. And Sean Payton on that same Sirius XM interview talked about both of those guys and whether or not he believes the next quarterback for the Saints is in the building.
I feel like our next quarterback's in the building, and I feel like Taysom is someone that's getting a great opportunity now. Jameis has had that experience, and we think extremely highly of Jameis Winston. He had a real good camp. For us, it's about acquiring guys that we think can be starters in this league and play at a high level. We went into the season knowing that if anything happened in-game, Jameis was our 2, and he was going to play, and he knew that. Well, everyone knew it. You know, there was too much that was on Taysom's plate, too much we would lose from a special team standpoint, personal protector, tight end, a lot into each game plan. And should it be an extended period of time, then we were going to give Taysom that opportunity, which we're doing right now. But the experience and the exposure we've had to Jameis has been fantastic, and I'm glad he's here. And I think that we're in that business of evaluating, but also we feel like coaching and developing that position.
So some extensive comments from Sean Payton there, which we haven't really heard yet. We've heard reports throughout, but from Sean Payton's mouth, this was the plan. If something happened in game, it would be Jameis. If it was an extended period, it would be Taysom. He's stuck to that. So far, the Saints are 3-0, and they got an awesome opportunity to win this week at Philly. Now, the one strength that the Eagles have, and they are a bad football team, but the one real strength they have is on their defensive line. And Sean Payton did talk about, on his conference call today, Wednesday morning, about Philadelphia's pass rush and how you prepare for that with Taysom Hill.
2 things. Number 1, they lead the league in sacks with just 4-man rushes. They lead the league in hurries. They lead the league in pressures. And they're way down at the bottom of the league relative to when they're blitzing or dogging. So it's a challenge when you can just run 4 and have that much success, because you can play coverage behind it, and now you're throws that got to come out of your hand a little quicker because of the pass rush are going into coverage as opposed to just man-to-man. So it's a really good front. They're very athletic. They rush the passer extremely well. They present a lot of challenges.
It's also a defense, while at times they played well, they don't hold up because there's so much pressure on them to be perfect. This last weekend against Green Bay, they gave up 30 points in that ball game, and Jalen Hurts provided a little bit of a spark. But you can look back just in their last 5. They lost 23-17 to Seattle. They lost 22-17 to Cleveland, 27-17 to the Giants. They beat Dallas 23-9. Defensively, that defensive line, that pass rush, that is the strength of this Eagles team. Can the Saints get something going in the running game against that front, and can they hold up to give Taysom Hill time to throw the ball and create plays offensively against that defense? Because I do think this is going to be a struggle. Not that this is any great unique thought. I think this is going to be a struggle for Jalen Hurts. He's never been known as a great passing quarterback. He does not have elite wide receiving talent on this team. Fulghams is number 1. The second leading receiver on the team is the tight end Dallas Goedert. The number 3 pass catcher is a converted quarterback in Greg Ward. There's just nothing there that really scares you especially if you've got Lattimore and Jenkins both healthy as they move into this game on Sunday. Sean Payton, though, gave his first comments of the week about preparing for Jalen Hurts to start this game this week.
There's an element of the running game that's unique, and it's not just zone read. Some of that you obviously saw with Carson. Both of those guys are athletic guys that can make plays out of the pocket. They're both very good out of the pocket, but there is an element of the run game that will be important for us this week, and if we're getting some design quarterback runs. So yeah, I mean they're different, and yet we have to defend the defense that we see, and then have good eyes and be smart enough to see what's new that maybe we hadn't seen.
And one more from Sean Payton. He talked about Jalen Hurts in the draft, and this is something that the Saints often do, and we've seen this throughout the years. And sometimes people hear or the draft nicks get all excited because Sean Payton talks to or works out a quarterback and think, well, is this when the Saints are going to draft the guy to replace Drew Brees? I remember several years ago, the big tall kid that Denver drafted that went to Memphis. God, I'm blanking on his name now.
Paxton Lynch?
Lynch, that was it. When they worked out Paxton, thank you. When they were working out Paxton Lynch, and it was like, oh, they're going to draft Paxton Lynch. No, man, it's Sean Payton getting a scouting report on every quarterback that he may have to face. Anyway, Sean Payton was asked about Hurts and if they evaluate him in the draft process.
We look at all of these guys. I remember his college film. I remember going through the interview process, all of it. You know, he's someone that obviously won games. You know, he transferred from Alabama, and he was definitely one of the quarterbacks that we were paying attention to and making sure we researched and graded thoroughly.
Taysom Hill against Jalen Hurts. What a time. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break and go around the SEC. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Pluckers. Thanks for being here. Stick around.
AFR.
Let me take 60 seconds and remind you about Premier South Roofing. Y'all, this process can be so easy thanks to Premier South Roofing. I mean, most of us neglect our roofs. Let's just be honest. It's not something you think about. I get it. It's a roof. It's up there. I mean, it's up. But it's critical, man. Like, it's the roof over your house. And we get high wind and heavy rain and hail and branches falling and all different types of things that can cause damage to your roof. What if you live in a golfing community? How many times do your golf balls hitting your roof? Like, all of those things can create damage and wear on your roof, and problems that go unchecked can become really big, really expensive problems. This is so easy. Premier South Roofing, PremierSouthLA.com. They come out to your house, they get on the roof, they inspect it. They handle everything. If you have damage and need a repair or replacement, they'll meet the insurance adjuster. They'll handle the claim. All you pay is your deductible, and you are done. Premier South Roofing. Check them out online, PremierSouthLA.com.
Toyotathon is happening right now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Get into a 20 Camry for $297 a month. Come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150 XLT. Buy a new one for less than a used one. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
A Duke loss last night in basketball. That in and of itself usually isn't a storyline on this show. The Blue Devils fall on a 2-2. But what Hall of Fame basketball coach, the winningest coach in the history of the sport, Mike Krzyzewski, said after that game is what has garnered a lot of headlines. In case if you missed it, after a 17-point loss to Illinois, this is what Coach K said.
I don't think it feels right to anybody. I mean, everyone is concerned. We made an assessment, or I'm not sure who leads college basketball. It's done by committee. You have oversight committee, you have this committee, and anything that's led by committee is not agile in handling a situation. So we made an assessment and there was a consensus. It wasn't like well planned that we're going to start November 25th. That was made without knowing if there's going to be where the vaccine was, how many cases. Basically, it was more of a mentality of get as many games in as possible. I would just like for the safety, the mental health and the physical health of our players and staff to assess where we're at.
Coach K is arguing that they should stop the season and resume at a later date. There are a lot of people who are pointing saying, hey, K, is this because you're 2-2 and you've lost twice at Cameron for the first time this early in December since like your second season in Durham? He was asked that. He said, we got our butts beat. For the good of the game, the mental, physical health of players and staff, we need to constantly look at this thing. I think that's a smart thing to do. We knew there were going to be challenges with basketball because of the nature of the roster. when you have such a small roster, when contact tracing comes into play, this is likely. Look, if you saw the news today, LSU basketball has shut down its basketball operations. They've paused activities. They will not play this weekend, this Saturday in Atlanta. They've replaced that game with a game against Sam Houston State early next week. So they're doing their part to shuffle how they have to replace games. But the thing I tell Coach K is the thing that we've discussed with every sport all along. It's what Greg Sankey has said. You're building the bridge as you cross it. Of course there's going to be stops and pauses and adjustments and changes, and you have to be agile. And that's what Krzyzewski said there. You have to be agile. But it's not just the people governing college basketball. You, as a coach, need to be agile as well, understanding that there are going to be disruptions because of the fraudulent regulations that have been put in place by a bunch of fearmongers. So, continue. It's after further review. We're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. Online, theantiagingclinics.com. Hey, remember, y'all, gift cards. All this month, buy a $100 gift card, they'll give you a $50 gift card free all this month at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, and there is no limit on that. So, you want to go buy 5 friends gift cards, maybe for employees in your office, clients, whatever it may be. For every 100 you spend, you get a $50 gift card free. You can use that for yourself on medical-grade skincare products, on medical-grade supplements like I take every day. I take Metagenics products, a daily multi. I take vitamin C. I take vitamin D, some fish oils. The medical-grade supplements, so your body absorbs them better. They have them there. The whole you inside and out. If it's Botox or if it's body contouring, they have all those services as well. And you can save this month at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online, theantiagingclinics.com. Okay, Taylor Colangelo for Bourbon Dictionary, less than 10 minutes from right now, though we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Texas A&M Aggies.
Jimbo Fisher has confirmed on the SEC teleconference that Texas A&M will not face an opponent this weekend. There was some conversation potentially about A&M trying to match up with Ohio State, who also does not have a game. Fisher said he would very much be open to doing that with more time to prepare. So Saturday's game against Ole Miss at Kyle Field has been postponed. A&M has a game scheduled next week, a makeup game in Knoxville against Tennessee. In absence of a game, Fisher did say his team will work out on Saturday.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Senior wide receiver Shi Smith has made it official. Gamecocks leading receiver declaring for the 2021 NFL Draft. Now here's the kicker. Shi Smith is a senior, but because of the special eligibility rules in place, he could return next season under new coach Shane Beamer, but says he out. 147 career catches for over 2,200 yards. Had a standout year this year while no longer in the shadow of Deebo Samuel and Brian Edwards.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Former Alabama football coach Ray Perkins died Wednesday morning at his home in Alabama. Ray Perkins was 79 years old, coached both at the pro and college level for more than 40 years. He's best known as the man who succeeded Paul Bear Bryant at Alabama. Coached the Tide for 4 seasons, was 32-15-1. Left Alabama for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Also played at Alabama from 1964 to 1966, where he was a wide receiver. Last season, the SEC honored Perkins as one of its SEC legends.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
And on the hardwood, after 5 pandemic-related postponements, number 12 Tennessee finally made its debut. Made the opener, most of their opener on Tuesday. They struggled against Colorado, but won 56-47. Vols didn't get their first player into double figures until less than a minute remained in the ball game when John Fulkerson hit 2 free throws to get to 11 points. Yves Pons led Tennessee with 10 boards. The Vols were out-rebounded, though, 38-32, but a win is a win is a win. Tennessee hosts Cincinnati on Saturday. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy, Trey Beal, and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Having lunch today with a buddy, a couple of clients actually, but friends, and they were telling me about the amount they spend currently with their copier company that their office product company that they do business with. I said, man, you got to call Gulf Coast, man. Face-to-face sales with Trey Beal, service after the sale, give you a great deal, takes awesome care of you. Gulf Coast Office Products with offices in Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, and the North Shore. Gulf Coast Office Products, GCOPnet.com, GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, glad you're hanging out with us here. Of course, you can always join us in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat. Matt Plavidal says, Coach K going to opt out. I doubt that very seriously. He is not in any way slowed, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for Mike Krzyzewski and the job he has done in college basketball and the way he has evolved with the times. He's very similar to Nick Saban in that respect, or Saban relative to he, in that both have evolved as time has gone along. Krzyzewski built teams based on guys that were the core that stayed and were great players and team guys. And as college basketball evolved into a one-and-done culture, Mike Krzyzewski shifted into a one-and-done culture, and his most recent national championship was with one-and-done guys like Jahlil Okafor. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for the job he's done. When you can maintain that level of consistency for 40 years at one place and perennially be in that conversation, and I have no doubt also that his intentions are in the right place with this, and I would not minimize in any way the mental health aspect and things of that nature that he mentioned, like kids not being able to go home for the holidays, they're quarantining around with their team, whatever that may be. And I would not minimize that mental health element there at all. However, if you are going to attempt to play a season, as everyone has during the pandemic, because we have allowed our lives to be ruined by the COVID crazies who are fearmongers, then this is just what you're going to have to live with. And until we're all willing to speak up and be free as parts of a free society, we're just going to have to adjust our lives because our government tells us when and where we can and can't go. So, keep on keeping on. It's after further review. Josh Ennis in 18 minutes. He'll talk some Philadelphia Eagles. We'll preview Saints Eagles, get a perspective from the Philly side of things. Ben Stevens is going to join us at the bottom of next hour. He hosts the Locked On Big Ten podcast, daily big podcast covering the Big Ten. Big news is the Big Ten athletic directors are meeting today, potentially to alter their rules to open the door for Ohio State to get into the Big Ten championship game, should it even matter. We'll get into that with Ben Stevens coming up in about 35 minutes, or about 45 minutes from right now. All right, it's after further review. Glad you are with us. Let's talk some brown water. Taylor Calandro with us next.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, online at brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. It is the Baton Rouge General Hospital where, of course, I continue to remind you, the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital is now reopened. They continue expanding care. As the pandemic started, they reopened the emergency room at the Mid-City location, and now they have opened the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital and Emergency Room. Everything that you'd need from a hospital, especially in your neighborhood, world-class care, has never been closer to Ascension Parish than it is now with the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital. Cancer treatments, emergency room, the Heart and Vascular Center. You want to deliver a baby there, you can. There's primary care and surgery. They do it all at the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital there with the Baton Rouge General Hospital. brgeneral.org. brgeneral.org is where you can learn more. And remember that the Baton Rouge General, they're part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. What you get is clinical collaboration, access to world-class research at the Mayo Clinic at no extra cost to you. Learn more online at brgeneral.org.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Have you been arrested for DUI or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, y'all, tomorrow's the day. The Rare Whiskey Raffle over at Calandro's. Virtual this year, but tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. Central, the deadline to pick up your tickets over in-store at either Calandro's locations. Perkins or Segan, Mid-City, right there on Government Street. Go pick up your tickets. Remember, all the money raised is going to the 4Kids Foundation. Wine and Spirits Director over at Calandro's, who will be here tomorrow for the raffle. Taylor Calandro with us, as he is every Wednesday. How are you, dude?
I'm good. Speaking of money raised,
yes,
we're at $48,000.
Holy moly, that is amazing. I mean, that is before, and for perspective, you all always get like a giant deluge the day before or the day of, right?
Yeah, and it started yesterday afternoon. I released the list of what we're going to have in the raffle, and it started yesterday afternoon. So,
all right, I need to pull this up, and I'll put it up on the screen for those that are watching. What can you tell us about the list for the raffle tomorrow?
It's 128 bottles of everything that's hard to find. Yeah.
All right.
We got a Pappy 20. We got a Van Winkle Family Reserve Rye 13-year, which you don't see that often. And then so on and so forth.
Oh, the 13-year rye. Honestly, man, have you had it before? Have you had the Van Winkle rye?
Yes, it's good. I like it.
I'm not a huge fan. I was actually and I love the Van Winkles. I think there's a lot of people who say it's more sizzle than steak. I disagree. I think they always hold up. But the 13-year rye was actually a little disappointing.
I enjoyed it, but I like rye, so
do I.
I don't know.
Got a rye that's the whiskey sponsor on the show.
Maybe you need to revisit.
Maybe so. And full disclosure, by the way, the Sazerac Company owns the Buffalo Trace Distillery, which produces all the Van Winkles. So I'm
correct.
It's not like I'm pandering to the sponsor. I mean, the sponsor produces that as well. So anyway, all right.
You're doing the exact opposite.
I kind of am. So just go spend $30 or $25 and get a bottle of Sazerac rye. Hey, so also silent auction items. What do y'all have?
We got the Joe Burrow signed jersey with Coach O, several gift certificates around town to restaurants, 2-night stay at the Beau Rivage with a round of golf at Fallen Oak.
Nice.
A gun from Bowie that I'm about to display and put out, and some flags from the Zurich Classic that are signed by players.
Very cool. Awesome stuff, man. Not 2-night stay at Nopsey Hotel. Did you mention that one?
2-night stay? No. 2-night stay at the Nopsey Hotel.
Yeah, Nopsey's great. Nopsey's the one that hosted us when we went and did AFR at the Sazerac House in New Orleans the night of Monday Night Football. Nopsey's a great, awesome spot there. Boutique hotel in the CBD.
Yeah, it's got a great little rooftop bar, too.
Yes, it does. All right, let's get some questions. As always, we can let you ask your booze questions. We're getting into holiday season. There's obviously a bunch of them. Here's one from Sippin at Brian Fike. It says, Taylor, any suggestions for a memorable distillery tour?
I would say a memorable Maker's Mark is awesome. When you go to Maker's Mark, it's the most beautiful distillery I've ever been to. It's in the middle of nowhere in Kentucky. Just a beautiful piece of property. The amount of detail they put into what they do, and they're still very hands-on. They still hand-dip bottles. They hand-cut labels. They do all that. And they show you that whole process. And it's just really nice out there. It's really nice, and it's not as industrialized as some of these other ones.
Got it. Pat Huseman on Twitter said, ask Taylor, I have a two-part, if I may, says, does Calandro's offer any holiday collectible decanters? And what is your favorite vodka for casual sipping purposes?
Well, unfortunately, the decanter thing has kind of gone away, and I wish it wouldn't, but I know Jim Beam still does them, but they only sell them at the distillery. We still get a random one every now and then from somebody, but it's just not a big thing like it used to be back in the 90s and 80s and 70s even.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
And a good sipping vodka, that's an interesting question. Grey Goose Ducasse.
Okay.
They toast the grain before they distill it.
Oh my God.
And it's very good. It's really good. It's a nice little sipper. Comes in a wooden box too.
All right. My guy knew exactly where to go with it. David Moffitt said, hey Taylor, what's the best wood chips to smoke old fashions? You've got a picture there of smoking his old fashioned. You got any tip for him?
I think you could probably get away with anything. Me personally, I'd probably do like a pecan or a cherry, just because I think they're a little sweeter smokes. But that's just me personally. I think you can use anything.
All right. Let's go over to Facebook. Josh Higgins said, hey, Taylor, what do you know about bourbon-infused coffee?
We actually sell some whiskey-infused K-Cup pods.
Okay.
That are new to us, that we've only been having for about a month, but it's just a K-Cup. You put it in. It somehow has alcohol in it already. And boom, there you go. And there's several different ones, too.
All right. Jason Gibson said, do you have any opinion on Terramana Tequila? He said, I see it's a big seller, wondering if it's good or only selling because of the person attached to it. Who's attached to it?
The Rock.
Oh,
Dwayne
okay.
Johnson.
All right.
Yes, it is good. I think it's fine for the price point for sure.
All right. Matthew W. asked Taylor, this is in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, rank them: bourbon, Irish whiskey, Japanese whiskey, Scotch, and Canadian whiskey. Didn't even mention Ryan there. Shame on him.
Scotch, bourbon, what was the other three? Scotch, bourbon,
Irish, Japanese, and Canadian?
Scotch, bourbon, Japanese, Irish, Canadian.
Ryan Marr said, calm down, Matt. You're not going to get those bottles for yourself. Talking about it in the raffle. And I will remind people again, Taylor, that in all the years that I've attended the Calandro's raffle and promoted it here to help raise money for great charities and our friends over at Calandro's, I have never once won anything. Okay? So anybody who ever says it's rigged or fixed, that is bogus. Because if anybody should be able to rig or fix this, it's me, because I do my show there. I promote the hell out of it. I've never gotten anything. So plenty of people do, and there's 120 bottles in the thing, but this is not rigged. I refuse to allow anybody to say it's rigged.
It would be so hard to rig. I mean, we've sold 6,000 tickets. It would be very difficult to rig.
Let's see. We got literally 60 seconds. Russell 10 years. Is that a good whiskey?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Very good.
Joshua Duke asked Taylor, how do you feel about flavored bourbons? Do you have a favorite or a recommendation?
Oh, I love flavored whiskey, actually. Right now, I would say like peppermint.
Okay, that's interesting. The one that I'll throw out is Slow and Low Rock and Rye. Either the 80 or the 100 proof, whichever you can find. I prefer the 100 proof. It's an orange label. Almost tastes like a bottled old fashioned, which doesn't sound like it would be awesome, but it kind of is.
Yeah, and that's Rock and Rye is actually really popular too.
It's really good. He is Taylor Calandro. This is Bourbon Dictionary. He's the wine and spirits director over at Calandro's. 2 locations. Remember, the Rare Whiskey Raffle. It's going virtual tomorrow, 6:30. Buy your tickets in store, and then join us on the ESPN social media tomorrow. Thank you, dude.
All right, Matt. Thanks.
See ya.
AFR.
We'll kick off hour 2 with Josh Ennis coming up after SportsCenter. Let me remind you about GMFS Mortgage, y'all. I'm so pumped. I am so pumped. I tell you all the time, call GMFS, get in touch with the local loan officer, see if they might be able to refinance your mortgage. So about a year ago, I called Doug Bickley at GMFS. I said, Doug, let's look at my rate. I already had a great rate from when I bought my house. I was around a 3.85. About a year ago, it wasn't really worth it. Called Doug again yesterday. He ran the numbers for me today. I am going to be sub 3 on my interest rate. We're going to refinance my mortgage, and I'm probably going to get to skip 2 mortgage payments. Y'all, I'm so pumped. I'm like pumped outside of my mind. Call GMFS Mortgage or log on, gmfsmortgage.com. Find the local loan officer nearest you. gmfsmortgage.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
Get an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. The Big Ten is changing its eligibility policy for the conference championship game. Number 4 Ohio State will play in that game, even though the Buckeyes have only played 5 regular season games. ESPN's Peter Burns.
The Big Ten not only kind of mitigated their risk as far as playing a full schedule and having one of their teams be upset, but now they're going to be possibly rewarded by it by a late change in the season.
Peter Burns on Shanae and Golick Jr. Ohio State will play 14th-ranked Northwestern for the title a week from Saturday in Indianapolis. ESPN's Tim McMahon reports Rockets guard James Harden will need to have 6 straight negative COVID-19 tests before he's allowed to practice. Harden didn't show up to camp on time after asking to be traded. College basketball, 3 of the scheduled ACC Big Ten Challenge games scheduled for tonight are now canceled. The latest is the game between 4th-ranked Michigan State and 18th-ranked Virginia. COVID-19 issues in the Cavaliers program.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Bottom of this hour, Ben Stevens will join us. Ben Stevens is the host daily of Locked On Big Ten. What's going on in the Big Ten, man? Are they really going to, change their whole structure just to accommodate Ohio State? Probably so. Okay, so Saints, Eagles, Sunday in Philly. Wanted to make sure we got some of the Philly perspective to learn more about the Saints' opponent, which is not a very good football team this year. Figured I'd call my best good friend, Josh Innes, who formerly of WIP in Philadelphia, now 97.5 in Houston. Also does the Josh Innes Show podcast, which caters mainly to both Philly and Houston, the two primary markets that he has worked in. And Josh, good enough to join us now. Hey, Josh, how are you?
I'm good. I'm glad that you've taken some time away from retweeting all these other LSU football players who got blasted by Bama for the last decade, ripping this LSU team that got blasted by Bama.
You know, this is why nobody likes you. Do you realize why people don't like you? This is why people don't like you.
Why do people not like me?
Because there's a big difference between fighting really hard and losing because you have an incompetent offensive game plan, so you lose 10-0, and losing 55-17 and time again giving up 60-yard touchdown passes and 600 yards, and Bama could have hung 100 if they wanted to. There's a big difference with that, Josh.
Well, there's also a big difference in 0 and 17.
I do understand, but Matt Canada's cockamamie offense scored 17 in Tuscaloosa.
Well, listen, I'm with you. LSU sucks, and they're a mess. I see hey, it's me, Blake Ferguson, guy who was part of the LSU team that, put up 100 yards against Alabama 3 years in a row. We need change.
Blake Ferguson won a national championship a year ago.
And everyone's an expert.
Blake Ferguson won a national championship a year ago.
I get that. You play with Joe Burrow 1 year, and now you're an expert on how to win championships.
He's part of what they built.
But what have they built? You've already said they built nothing.
That's
because they're terrible.
They did. They did.
Okay, I got you. Listen, I don't disagree with you.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the Saints and the Eagles, right? I don't got all day to sit and argue with you. We'll do that via text later today, all right?
Okay. You'll just ignore me there, but that's fine.
No. I always respond to you. It's
Anyway.
usually demeaning and belittling, but I do respond to you.
You do, and it is usually that. You are correct. So,
All right.
as far as the Saints go, and first of all, I'm a diehard, as you know, Saints fan, especially diehard supporter of the man of God, who should be the Defensive Player of the Year.
I agree.
Everybody knows this. I mean, the dude's a beast. You talked about it. You and I were texting about it. The Saints defense is as good as it's been since probably the Dome Patrol. It's stupid how good they are right now. And these people in Philly seem to think, these dopey media people think that the guy who lost his job to Tua and then went to Oklahoma and threw for a bunch of yards where everyone throws for a bunch of yards.
True.
All of a sudden he's going to go in and beat this Saints defense. And I can tell you, it could be Mormon Vic at quarterback. It could be Jameis. Doesn't matter. The Saints ain't losing this weekend to an awful football team in Philadelphia, and it may not even be close.
How did a previously undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers team then lose to an awful 4-7 Washington football team at home?
Because the Steelers, honestly, aren't really on the level of the Saints. I know they're undefeated, but offensively, Pittsburgh's got issues, and they've had them for most of the year against bad teams. They're slow starters against bad teams. And defensively, they ain't as good as that Saints front. I mean, I know they got players there. I'm not an idiot. But the Saints front has been dominant, and they're playing at a very high level right now. Oh, and Washington, better than the Eagles. Beat them already. The Eagles are terrible. They have very little talent. Howie Roseman has left them with nothing. Their offensive line is dreadful, and the good players are hurt. Their secondary is embarrassing. Their only good players are really the defensive front, and our boy from Zachary is a nice little player, the
Boston
running
Scott.
back there, Boston Scott. They got a couple of players. They're largely terrible. Their roster is dreadful. And I don't think that you can take a team that on both sides of the ball has 9 bad players and you go, well, here we go. Here's Jalen Hurts to come in and shake things up. The Saints, if they're worth anything defensively, and I know you could say it's a look ahead. They got the Chiefs coming up. I get that. But the Saints have to go 13-0 essentially to be the number 1 seed because Green Bay ain't going to lose. So they have to win every game to be the number 1 seed and get the bye. I don't think they're going to roll into Philadelphia and overlook Jalen Hurts, knowing what has to happen for them to get the bye. My man DeMario ain't going to let that happen. Sean may. Sean overlooks a lot of people because Sean can clown it up because he's arrogant. DeMario ain't going to do that. The man of God wants to dance after the game in his mask in the locker room, and he's going to do that.
Josh Innes is our guest. He's on Twitter at Josh Innes Show. Give him a follow. You get links to his podcast. Subscribe to the Josh Innes Show podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Let's go a little more detail though on Philly and what they have. I think by far their best unit, maybe their only really good unit, Josh, is their defensive line. Walk us through why that defensive line has been as successful as they are.
And it's been that way for the last 4 or 5 years. I think health is a main part of it. Like, if you look at their roster over the last 4 years and look at the guys they've lost, Deshaun Jackson, always hurt. I know he's not a defensive lineman, but Lane Johnson, always hurt. Jason Peters, always hurt. Carson Wentz, always hurt. Defensive backs, always hurt. They've been pretty healthy there, and Fletcher Cox is really, really, really good. He's their Cam Jordan, basically. He's really, really good. Vinny Curry, when he's healthy, is really, really good. I think it's mostly just the stability there. Health-wise, it's been good. Secondary is a rotating door of injured guys and guys that aren't very good anyway, right? So they're able to get pressure. They're consistently able to get pressure. And that's why I just think the health. I think the easiest answer, and I'm not an X's and O's guy, the easiest answer is they're talented players and they're healthy more consistently.
Can the Saints' offensive line hold up, especially with what we've seen with Ruiz struggling at times and the honestly, we still haven't gotten final word as of now, Wednesday, on Teron Armstead's availability.
It'll be tough, but here's the good thing. Mormon Vic is going to get out of the pocket, and Mormon Vic is going to make plays. I'm only half joking. But
some people have called him Vanilla Vic. Do you prefer Mormon Vic or Vanilla Vic?
Vanilla Vic, I guess, is better in terms of alliteration.
Yeah.
So maybe Vanilla Vic. I'll go with that too. Mormon Vic, Vanilla Vic doesn't bother me either way.
Okay.
Last night you watch Lamar Jackson. Everybody talks about him like he's the greatest player in the world. Dude, his numbers same as Mormon Vic. So they're the same type of player. One's a little bit faster probably and throws the ball a little bit better. But
one's a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger.
Yeah, but let's put it this way. That offensive line being beat up and Drew Brees being back there, he'd have a much better chance of getting mauled. I know that Drew gets rid of it faster, But he'd have a better chance of getting mauled by those guys than Mormon Vic does. And Mormon Vic, he's a big, tough dude, and he can take the hits. And that's my man. I'm all about Mormon Vic and the man of God. I'm very religious now. I don't know if you knew this. I love the man of God, and I love Mormon Vic.
And no way, that is about as religious as you are saying those two men's affiliations. That's the extent of it. But it is worth mentioning, though, that with 3 games with Taysom and the Denver game notwithstanding, for obvious reasons.
You can tell Ryan Clark that Denver game didn't mean anything. He's a Mormon Vic doubter. So, oh, my God, I told you. I told the world they were going to be ready. They didn't even try to do anything on offense against Denver. Sorry. He upset me. He talked about Vanilla Vic.
They scored 24 the first time against Atlanta, 21 on Sunday. No worries about the Saints offensively going to Philly, outdoor, cold weather, good defensive line, offense that hasn't, while they moved the ball, they've turned it over, obviously. Ball security has been an issue for Taysom so far. No concern there?
No, because they should have had 28 and been up, 28-9
they
at
weren't.
one point in that game. And they weren't. I get that, but they're at the 4-yard line, and they should have if they call a better play there or he gets rid of the ball. So, no, because if you look at the Eagles throughout the year, most of their games, even against good teams, like against the Ravens, you look at the final score and you go, wow, they only lost by, I think, 2 or 3. But then you go, well, wait a minute, they were down by 20 at one point in that game, and they're down by double digits. I think they've been down by double digits or at least trailing big in the second half of every game they've played. So they're not good. Now, that's without Jalen Hurts, and I know they're excited because Jalen Hurts threw 1 touchdown against the Packers, who were already up 20 with 6 minutes to go. So, that's Philly for you. They get people in Baton Rouge are wackos. The Philly people, it's like, well, Jalen Hurts is the savior. Like, no, he's not. No, he's not. He went good at real talk. Basically, remember that game was at the 10-0 game against Bama where he ran in the touchdown to make it 10-0? Dude didn't do anything against those guys. Those were NFL caliber players. I don't believe in Jalen Hurts at all.
So is there anything Philly could do on Sunday offensively that challenges New Orleans?
Offensively, I don't think so. The best thing they could do, honestly, is probably let Jalen Hurts run. Because I think the Saints are going to get pressure because the offensive line is terrible. So they're going to have to roll him out a little bit and get him out of the pocket. I mean, a couple of plays he made late in that game, again, it's against the prevent probably. But, he ran for 10, 12 yards a pop at a time. So that might be the answer. They have no wide receivers. We could talk about the Saints' weakness in terms of health or sometimes just bad play as the secondary, right? Who are they going to throw it to? Fulgham? I mean, there's a name of Alshon Jeffrey who fell off a cliff. Like, who's their wide receiver that's going to make plays?
Greg Ward.
Great. Greg Ward is the former college quarterback.
Right. No, that's my point. Rieger, can you believe they, especially with, we knew it at the time, but now with the benefit of hindsight, passing on Justin Jefferson for Jalen Rieger?
And their whole thing in Philly was, he's just a slot receiver. Okay, congrats on having Jalen Rieger. You went to TT. They're like, yeah, we got Jalen Rieger, and he returned a kick. He made a play, actually, late in that game. And they give the credit to Hurts. They go, well, the team wanted to play harder for Hurts. You people are morons. You're just stupid people. No, I think Hurts is going to get his ass whipped. I believe, and maybe I'll be wrong here, I don't think the Saints are overlooking anybody at this point because, they got the Chiefs next week. They want to have the bye. And to do that, they're probably going to have to win 13 games in a row. So I don't think they're going to go up to Philly, and I don't think weather's going to be a huge concern either. They won a playoff game up there in the snow a couple years ago. So I'm not worried about weather, being outside. There are no fans anyway. I'm not worried about it. I don't care if there's a new quarterback or not. Everyone else on the team, for the most part, stinks. The new quarterback making his first career start, who was a reach in the second round, by the way, no, I'm not worried about it. Now, the way they lose is if Mormon Vic has some of these fumbles and he doesn't fall on them or they don't fumble out of bounds like the end of the Atlanta game. Someone falls on them. That's a problem. They could have lost. He fumbled late in the game. Fortunately, it went out of bounds. So that's the only way they would have lost to Denver, right, is if he would have turned the ball over too many times. They didn't let him. So, but you know what? If Mormon Vic takes care of the football, and really, people don't talk about this enough, and I told you last year, and I've told you this year when I text and you don't respond during the games.
Text me during games.
Latavius Murray is a huge part of what
Murray,
they do.
present.
Jesse, They were missing the boom to the zoom. And they're using him more in that role now, and he's putting up some numbers. Latavius Murray's a huge part of what they do.
Josh Ennis is our guest. 3 fumbles against Atlanta for Taysom on Sunday.
And one of them should have cost him the game. He just happened to be on the sideline and it went out of bounds.
9.
And you know what, though? You have to acknowledge
9 fumbles
he's not
on
dreadful.
9 fumbles on the season. That's just
true. But he's better than throwing interceptions.
No,
How many
listen.
did he lose?
But in fairness, he threw a ball on Sunday at the goal line that should have been intercepted by A.J. Terrell, who dropped it. And a week ago, similar, threw one right at the defender for Denver, who dropped it. He's gotten away with some. I mean, I think we can say definitively he's very bad at throwing the deep ball.
Well, he threw 4 backyard kickoffs against Atlanta the first time, too.
That's my point. And we can even look at the playoff game last year against Minnesota when he had the one deep shot to Deontay Harris and he underthrew it by 5 yards. Should have been a touchdown. Was caught. So on the stat sheet, it looks like a big play, but it was a terrible throw. So listen, we'll get to the long-term Taysom question eventually. Really, what I'm just interested in is
he ain't the long-term solution.
Well, we'll see, and time will play that out. All I really care about is that they keep winning until Drew Brees comes back, and I think they got a great shot to do that this weekend against Philly.
And they will. They will win this weekend, and that great defense and the man of God will dance, and it will be beautiful, and I will tweet him, and he will retweet me because he retweets everyone. But
so do I.
And I bought his T-shirt. I usually don't wear a T-shirt of another man, but man of God, I might get religious. I might start going to church. If they win the Super Bowl with man of God, I'll start going to church. I'll come to town with you. We'll go to church on Sunday.
I would love to take you to church.
Hey, you know, it sounds good, but I'll tell you, are you You're Catholic. You went to Catholic high. What a dummy. Hey, man, are you Catholic? Like, you got a cup in front of you with a giant C on it. So, no, you're not. I do get upset because I used to have a girlfriend who was Catholic, and she wanted me to go to what is it called on Christmas Eve? What is that mass called? Like
Midnight Mass?
Christmas Eve mass, Midnight Mass. And they wouldn't let me eat Christ. And they're like, well, you're not baptized. I'm like, why can you guys have it? Why aren't you more benevolent? I'm not baptized. Then come to find out I am baptized. I could have eaten Christ. Figure that one out. What a world.
It's not just about being baptized, Josh. But we can have that conversation another day. He is Josh Ennis on Twitter, at Josh Ennis Show. He and I used to host a radio show together many moons ago, but now he is in Houston and also was in Philly and does a podcast that caters to both Houston and Philly, knows a lot about the Eagles, even though he purports to hate them. Good enough.
I don't hate them. I just love the Saints.
Okay. And you hate people in Philadelphia?
For the most part, yes.
Probably because they yell at you on Twitter.
They're mean.
Well, you're rude.
Well, it takes one to know one.
I suppose so.
Well, then now we know. Well, hopefully, I don't know, maybe Smacker Miles will retweet your stuff today about how the program's going to hell. So
probably
fingers
not.
crossed for you.
All right. We'll see you later, Josh.
See you later, Matt. Be good.
All right. That's Josh Ennis. Whatever. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. Every home listed by every company, all in one place, right there. Listen, as we move toward the new year, and obviously for many people, the new year is going to be a time for change. And if part of that change for you in the new year, is going to be moving, selling your home, call Darren James, get your home sold. Here's one in Baton Rouge, in River Oaks. Lori Lynn Drive, went on the site today, 169.9, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, just a hair under 2,000 square feet. Check it out right now, agent225.com. Nobody has the systems in place to get your home sold faster for more money than Darren James. That's why he's on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1,000 realtors in America. If you need to sell your home, call Darren James. Get your home sold.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into front-to-back boat services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front-to-back boat services.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank &
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Hey, keep an eye out for this report from D'Orlando Ledbetter at the AJC, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, that Saints Vice President and Assistant GM for Pro Personnel Terry Fontenot is expected to interview for the Falcons' vacant GM position. Of course, Thomas Dimitroff fired this year mid-season, so Falcons looking for a new GM. And Fontenot, who's been in New Orleans for this is his 16th season in New Orleans in the Peyton Loomis era. So an interview with Fontenot while the Saints are still playing would have to happen virtually, according to the NFL protocols. So he wouldn't be able to interview in person until after the Saints season is done, which we hope is beginning of February. So keep an eye on that. Remember also, the NFL this year did institute that rule where they would provide teams who have a minority candidate hired away with a draft pick. As we talked about it when it happened, I think that's an absurd way to incentivize minority hiring. But it may benefit the Saints. I mean, if Terry Fontenot gets hired, the Saints would gain, it's worth mentioning, they would get a third-round compensatory pick in the next couple of drafts. So it's worth mentioning that that's a possibility out there if Fontenot gets hired. And I was thinking about this today. The list of people who have been hired away from the Saints organization during the Peyton Loomis era. A lot of coaches, Aaron Cromer, Dennis Allen, Joe Lombardi, Doug Marrone, Curtis Johnson got hired, obviously, to be the Tulane coach, now back. Mike Nolan, John Morton, Joe Brady. In the front office, the only two I can remember were Ryan Pace and Russ Ball, who got hired by Green Bay. So it's been a rarity that front office personnel from New Orleans have been hired away. Seen a lot of coaches hired away, but this is a possibility there with Terry Fontenot. So we'll keep an eye on that with the AJC reporting the Saints assistant GM for Pro Personnel expected to interview for the Falcons GM job. All right, it's after further review. Glad you are hanging out with us here. Hump Day shows are brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet. Dine in or carry out. I was hoping that we'd get an update at some point this afternoon on the Big Ten athletic directors meeting, and it appears as though we have it. And in 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, we're going to talk to Ben Stevens, who's the daily host of the Locked On Big Ten podcast. And the Big Ten has eliminated their minimum game requirement, which puts Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. The Big Ten, they're just the biggest frauds. And I'm not mad at them for doing this. They're putting Ohio State, their best chance to get in the playoff, in the best position to get into the playoff. So, not mad at them for doing it. Probably a smart thing to do. I just want them to acknowledge that they're frauds. That's what I want. I just want you to acknowledge that you're a total fraud as an organization. Everything that you piggybacked this offseason, you have done an about face. You weren't going to play because of myocarditis. And then you decided you were going to play because everyone else was playing. And then you were going to have this 21-day quarantine period and heart screening for every athlete. And then it looks like Ohio State 2 weeks ago couldn't play, but then magically that 21-day thing, gone. And they're playing a week later against Michigan State because they got to get games in. Like, you're just a fraud. That's all you are. Like, everything you've done is for optics as you've sat in your ivory tower, and everything that you championed, you've turned your back on and tried to do it quietly so nobody would notice that you're a total fraud. But that's what you are. The Big Ten is a complete and total fraud. You know who else is a complete and total fraud? The NFL. Look at what happened last night with Des Bryant. Did you happen to see this? They had a weird Tuesday night game because of scheduling. What happened last week with Steelers and Ravens, so their games this week had to be delayed. The Steelers played Monday afternoon. The Ravens and the Cowboys played last night. Well, just before the game was about to kick off, 30 minutes before the game kicked off, they pulled Des Bryant off the field. He's going through pregame warmups without a mask, by the way. Des Bryant had a PCR test that was inconclusive. They had to retest. They find out his retest is positive. So they come and pull Des Bryant off the field. They put him in quarantine at M&T Bank Stadium, and then they do a quarantine tracing or contact tracing interview with him, and they have these little meters that monitor where you go and all that stuff, and they determine there was no contact tracing violations, so they could play the game. Y'all, that is a dinosaur-sized pile of dung, that explanation. You mean to tell me you can fine the New Orleans Saints and strip them of a draft pick because players who had just got done playing a football game, who all tested negative, by the way, everyone tests negative, so they're okay such that they can go play a football game on bleeding, spitting, sweating all over each other for 3 hours. Then they go into a locker room and they dance, and they're going to be punished because they're not wearing masks. But Des Bryant can literally be positive for the virus, riding on buses, in the team hotel, in team meetings, warming up without a mask, hugging, dapping in the locker room, all that stuff. But you're going to play the game. Why are you going to play the game? Because you have to play this game. If you want to get every game in, you have to play. And by the way, I'm good with them playing it for all the reasons we said. Pro athletes aren't being affected by COVID-19. They're not 90 years old. But you're just a fraud. It's all about the optics. That's what this whole thing has been. It has been about optics and fear-mongering and control, and it's stupid. It is abundantly stupid. But I just want you to acknowledge it. That's all. I want the Big Ten to acknowledge we were frauds, and we're changing everything now. We hope you don't call us out, but we're frauds. And I want the NFL to acknowledge the same. This is all about optics. It's not actually about anything that because people care about COVID. It's because it's just how you're perceived publicly, and that's all this is. Do you realize what I just said? A man who was on the field, on the buses, in the hotel, was literally tested positive. When that happens now, everything shuts down. They close facilities and go through this whole process. That was 30 minutes before the game. They played it anyway. We'll take our shot. Frauds, bro. All of them. Frauds. All right, it's after further review. Let's talk about the fraudulent Big Ten. Ben Stevens is going to join us next. He hosts daily the Locked On Big Ten podcast, covering the Big Ten every single day. That's coming up next. And Russ Mitchell in the next hour. Stay here.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Carriages in Bocage. CarriagesBR.com. What an awesome time to get by Carriages, y'all. It is the holiday season. If you need that new outfit for that holiday party or for that holiday service, maybe just because the weather's getting a little cooler and you want to be able to wear nice, wonderful holiday and wintertime apparel, Carriages in Bocage. Even footwear, the Boot Network, they got great boots in right now. Other fantastic lines that you know and love, like Peter Millar. If it's the Oxford shirts, if it's the quarter zips, their sweaters. They even got cashmere sweaters as well, a great selection. You need a gift for your gift exchange, they've got officially licensed LSU gear, like belts and koozies and awesome stuff. Go check them out at Carriages in Bocage. Voted by you the best men's clothier in the Best of 225 awards for like a decade straight, where they've been for more than 30 years, right there in the courtyard in Bocage Village. It's Carriages in Bocage. Go tell Will and all the gang that Matt sent you in today to Carriages in Bocage.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Okay, so the big news out of the Big Ten is that they have voted, athletic directors have voted, they've changed the policy that a team must play in 6 games to be eligible for the conference championship game, meaning that Ohio State will now face Northwestern on December the 19th in the Big Ten championship game. Ben Stevens is the host daily of the Locked On Big Ten podcast, covering all things Big Ten. Good enough to join us. Ben, thanks for the time, man. How are you?
Pleasure to be here, man. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to talk Big Ten with you.
For sure. Hey, by the way, is the Big Ten planning on doing an about face on anything else that they set in place way back when while sitting atop their ivory tower? Anything else going to change between now and the title game or the end of the season?
Matt, is that how we're starting this interview?
That is how we're starting this interview. That is how we're going to go. You know what? No, go ahead.
I figured that might be the case. Yeah. I figured that might be the case. You might be thrilled to know that right now I'm watching Pardon the Interruption, and Mike Wilbon is talking about this very thing. I think a guy that you are a big fan of. Regardless, I like Wilbon. The Big Ten. You like Wilbon? We're good with Wilbon?
I do like Wilbon. I just think he and all the other Big Ten frauds who were yelling about myocarditis and all that crap in the summer and have all done an about face are frauds.
Yeah, I mean, listen, right now you stand to be the guy with the most reason, and they are the ones that are kind of having their tails between their legs. But I don't know if we'll have a real about face anywhere else except for that 6-game minimum, which now seems that it's going to be changed, and the athletic directors voted on that this morning. They need a few more steps of approval, but it seems like that will be what the case is for Ohio State to get into the Big Ten title game. The only thing that really would be left to flip would be allowing the Buckeyes to play a non-conference opponent to finish out the regular season this week. I don't foresee that happening, though, especially as we sit here on Wednesday afternoon.
Okay, and I'm obviously just you understand I'm coming out guns blazing, but there are things that I do want to discuss legitimately here, like how did this process come about, Ben? Where obviously the decision to play was far from unanimous. So how did they get to this decision today to allow a rule change to let Ohio State in?
Well, I think really what it comes down to is Ohio State is the Big Ten's cash cow. And anybody that doesn't agree with the fact that we're playing this college football season in part because money is a huge part for the athletic department, and the idea that Ohio State getting to the college football playoff looks good for all of the Big Ten Conference, is beneficial to all of the Big Ten Conference, is a little bit naive when it comes to that. And frankly, that's what we have right now. Also, the legitimacy of a Big Ten title game without the clear best team in the Big Ten Conference. I'm sorry, Indiana. I'm sorry, Northwestern. I'm sorry, Iowa. Ohio State is the best team in the Big Ten Conference. It doesn't take a PhD to see that when you watch the Buckeyes play football. To have a Big Ten title game based on an arbitrary rule that was made up out of thin air just for this one season, a season that has changed almost daily, would really be a hit against the conference. That's why I think we are changing things around. A lot of Big Ten fans have said they're bending the knee to Ohio State. Oh, wow, look at us accommodating everything to Ohio State's wish and whim. That is not necessarily the case. It makes sense from a monetary perspective to have your best team play in the conference championship game if you want to say that means something for every football season, and then what that will lead to in the college football playoff.
So clarify this, because I always look at the Big Ten, and I'm talking not just about like Big Ten football. I'm talking about the universities within the Big Ten. They are collectively maybe rivaling the Pac-12, but the wealthiest universities among a conference with endowments at Michigan and Ohio State and Purdue and Northwestern. I mean, they have tons of money. So decisions fueled by money within the Big Ten, I was kind of going, really? So if you would just elaborate there, how and why the money associated with this season or Ohio State making the playoff is significant for that league, which is abundantly wealthy.
Yeah, I mean, I still think when you're playing a college football season during a global pandemic and athletic departments across the board have taken hits, to have your best team have a chance to play in the college football playoff and all the revenue that comes with that and then possible appearance in the national title game, that is beneficial for the league. I also think because, Matt, it's very easy to say the Big Ten sits on their ivory tower and they are these esteemed universities that want to operate on an academic level like the Ivy League, but want to play on an athletic level like the SEC. They have kind of found themselves in this weird gray area, but still when they look at it from a college football perspective, they want Ohio State up there in the big time. That is part of the reason I think we are even playing a Big Ten season in the first place. It was because the Buckeyes put pressure on the league office saying, we have a team that will make the college football playoff. We have a potential national championship winning team. Let us do this. And I think that's a big reason that we're even playing the Big Ten football season in the first place. So I think it has to do with the money that's spread across the conference if Ohio State makes that CFP, which I think they will, and just really the legitimacy of your Big Ten football superpower that you want to be, have your best team by far playing the conference title game to then appear in the CFP.
A couple more minutes here with Ben Stevens. Y'all follow him on Twitter at Ben Scott Stevens. He is the host daily of the Locked On Big Ten podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, go listen and subscribe, especially now. I mean, Big Ten's at the center of everything. Did Michigan duck Ohio State?
No. Frankly, no. I actually just spoke to the host of Locked On Wolverines and the publisher of Wolverines Wire, Isaiah Hole, who is very ingrained with that Michigan department, and he knows for a fact, speaking to the people he knows within the football program, Jim Harbaugh was peeved off at the fact they could not play this game. He was doing everything in his power to play this game. Yes, it is easy for the fans to say Michigan would have been blown out by 100. Ryan Day himself back in August said he wanted to hang 100 on the Wolverines. And it's easy from a fan perspective to say that. I get it. However, when you look at the actual Michigan football program, the game is one of the most storied rivalries across all of college sports. So they go to play at Michigan to play against Ohio State, even if they think they're going to lose. And frankly, it's been a terrible year for Michigan. They've already been embarrassed. So what's one more? They got embarrassed, the worst home loss ever in the Big House to Wisconsin. They've been embarrassed by Ohio State the past 2 years. But regardless, everybody that plays football for the Michigan Wolverines plays there to play in the game against Ohio State. And to have that opportunity, because crazier things have happened, to knock off the Buckeyes. Would it have happened this year? No. But still, they work to play in that game from the time they start training camp all the way through to play against the Buckeyes. So they were not ducking this. This was not something they wanted to happen. It has to do with the increase in COVID numbers within their program that they couldn't get under control. And thus, we have the cancellation of the game for the first time since before World War I.
You know, Ben, I look at, and maybe you could shed some light on this. I know the Big Ten has their 21-day mandate for screening, et cetera, before a player can return. Look at Ohio State, who had to cancel 2 weeks ago, but then they were able to play and get numbers to play this last weekend against Michigan State. Michigan obviously had to cancel, and now back-to-back weeks they're not going to be able to play. I'm at a loss with how Ohio State was able to play last weekend when everybody else hasn't been able to. I mean, what am I missing here in the connect the dots? Because it does feel like the Big Ten allowed Ohio State to circumvent their 21-day policy to have a roster so that they could play last weekend against Michigan State.
Well, I think it just goes to the fact that Ohio State is better than everybody when it comes to something in Big Ten football, and that even goes to containing a COVID outbreak within their program. I think the reason they canceled against Illinois is because they saw things trending in a bad direction, and they wanted to stem it as much as possible. They could give up the Illinois game in the hopes of playing these final 2 weeks against Michigan State and Michigan, and I think they made that realization, and it took everything in their power to cancel that game on a Friday night before leaving on Saturday to go play the Illini, to make sure they could play and have the opportunity to play these final 2 weeks of the season. I just think it goes to the fact that Ohio State has been very, very indebted to this Big Ten football season, doing everything in their power. Ohio State is the only program, Matt, like you mentioned, across the Big Ten Conference that when they have had to pause activities has not been postponed for 2 weeks. It only happened one time for Ohio State. Now the Buckeyes back. I just think it goes to what you were saying earlier, their resources and everything they put into this Big Ten football season. I think they saw the writing on the wall heading into that Illinois game and what was needed for the final weeks of the Big Ten regular season, the Big Ten championship game, and then getting into that conversation for the college football playoff. So I think that's why they canceled the game against Illinois, and I think they did it in time to stem an outbreak, and that's why they're back. They were down 23 players, some key starters on the offensive line and on defense. Of course, head coach Ryan Day was not there as well, but all reports were Bruce Feldman saying the same thing about Michigan. They were going to be maybe down 45 players. There were talks about a whole position groups missing out. Ohio State didn't have that issue, and I think that's why they were able to get back to play Michigan State last weekend.
Last thing for you, Ben. Ben Stevens is with us, host of Locked On Big Ten. Make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Last thing, as a football fan, I just have like a fundamental issue with Ohio State, even if they get to 6-0, playing 3 or 4 fewer games and being in the playoff. Make the case why I'm wrong in this instance.
That's a very tough task there, Matt. I'm not sure I can, because when you look at it, although I think Ohio State, from the eyeball test, is one of the best 4 teams in all of college football.
I
when
agree.
You put them up against Notre Dame right now, and you see the Buckeyes at 5-0, and Notre Dame is 10-0, and Bama's 9-0, and Clemson has played 4 more games than Ohio State as well. It's hard to make that argument because even the best team, if they've only played 5 games, how do you really know what you have? And it's been very difficult for the CFP committee, who struggles with their own rationale a lot of times, to say, how can we evaluate a 5-win team against a 10-win team? That is literally half of the games that we have seen. And I think, honestly, it goes to the fact that the college football playoff, also like the way the Big Ten kind of approaches Ohio State, the CFP knows that Ohio State is going to garner eyeballs. It is going to garner TV watching. It's going to bring everything into the college football playoff. And I think we've seen this year, as crazy as 2020 has been in college football, and the likes of Coastal Carolina and BYU and Cincinnati making runs for the CFP, still, what is most important is the brand name in college football. It's a sad reality that we're all faced with, but I think that's why Ohio State is in the top 4 right now. And I'm a Big Ten guy, and I acknowledge my bias, but that is why Ohio State is number 4 right now in the CFP rankings.
Dude, I really just wish we would just expand this thing, man. Like, of course Ohio State is one of the best teams in college football. It's not debatable, but what you do on the field has to matter. Like, I hope, man, this is the impetus to get an expanded playoff. So all of these teams could be in it. We can actually see an expanded field and see this thing play out. It would be, especially in this year, man. It would be so awesome to see, but I guess we're not going to solve that. Y'all listen to Ben's podcast. He's on Twitter at Ben Scott Stevens, Locked On Big Ten, hosting a daily podcast, all things Big Ten. However, get your podcast, go listen and subscribe. He does an awesome job. Ben, always a pleasure, man. I appreciate whenever I'm on with you. Thanks for jumping on with me. Have a great day, dude. Thank you so much.
Matt, final question for you. I see that you are a big Sazerac rye guy. After this week in the Big Ten, can you send any bottles my way? Maybe take off the edge a little bit as we get into this big weekend?
I will happily do that, my friend. And if you ever make your way down this way, we'll open all the good stuff.
Okay. That is a promise right there. I will remember this as we sit here at 4:46 p.m. Central Time on Wednesday, December 9th, 2020.
I love it.
Matt Moscona promised me that. Okay.
Hey, bro.
Good.
Listen,
Noted.
you never have to twist my arm to try to drink whiskey. So I'm down. You make your way down here,
good.
I'm down. All right, man. Hey, have a great one. Thanks so much.
We will. Thanks, Matt.
All right, man. That is Ben Stevens. Y'all follow him at Ben Scott Stevens. Someone, who was it? I was looking at the Bayou Ford YouTube chat. I was like, damn, Matt, you went right after him out the chute. I had to. Look, and I'm not going after Ben, per se. He didn't make any rules, but it's like, he's not the one who made the decision, but it's just. And I want to be so clear. I don't blame the Big Ten. I don't blame them for adjusting. The problem is they were such jackasses at the beginning of all this with their ivory tower, chin up and nose up in the air, the way they looked down at everyone, and they were right and everyone was wrong. And now they have walked back every damn thing they've done. And they're all cowards. They're all walking it back like little cowards and not saying anything. Not Ben, but all the ADs and Michael Wilbon and Desmond Howard and Chris, what's that woman's name? God, I don't even want to say her name. Anyway, they're all cowards. They were all so dead wrong. And now they just. That's what they are. Muso. That's how they all sound. At least in my mind, that's how they sound. All right, we'll wrap up the hour next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Pluckers, title sponsor of our Hump Day shows all throughout the year. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine in or carry out. 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice cold draft beer, full service bar, sports on TV. Tonight, tons of college basketball action. If you're watching for leisure or because you have a financial interest in the games, get by Pluckers. They got TVs everywhere. You go to the Bluebonnet location, even when you get up, take a leak while you're standing at the urinal, they got TV above the urinal. Go to wash your hands, because you should always wash your hands. They got TV behind the mirror while at the sink. It's at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Great place before the game, after the game, or to watch the game. And if you're having a game watch party, Pluckers can cater any size order. Pluckers. Nicholson or Bluebonnet dine-in or carry out at Pluckers. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Is happening right now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Get into a 20 Highlander for $4,600 off MSRP. Come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-111.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Pluckers Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, Muso Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Find them online at kysbesthemp.com.
A couple of NFL notes to start us off today in Tigers in the pros. Of course, the Baltimore Ravens were in action last night, which means Patrick Queen was on the field. Pretty solid night for PQ. 5 total tackles, 3 of them solo, 1 pass defense. And he got his first career interception.
Rookie of the year.
And I feel like he should be getting a little bit more buzz for that Defensive Rookie of the Year
than he
is. Well, a lot of people are on Chase Young, Matt. A lot of people are on Chase Young. I'm with you. I see that face. Yeah, really, man. And the former LSU Tigers should sweep Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. Another NFL note, this one's kind of interesting. Ian Rappaport is reporting that the Seattle Seahawks have signed quarterback Alex Magoo. Great name. No, he didn't play
for LSU.
He didn't.
What are you talking about, Muso?
Well, he's signed to the practice squad now because their other practice squad quarterback, Danny Etling, is going to be placed in a bubble. And that's in case COVID strikes their quarterback room, much like what happened to the Denver Broncos. Some forward thinking there from Pete
Etling's a
Carroll.
bubble boy.
Etling is going to be the little boy in the bubble.
right.
You always see on the news who just like spends his entire day playing video games.
All right.
That's going to be Danny Etling in Seattle. And finally, we told you a couple weeks ago that Marlon Taylor signed the Exhibit 10 contract with the Washington Wizards. Well, we got our first look at Marlon Taylor in a Wizards uniform as he posted these pictures from his photo shoot to his Twitter. Fills it out nice, man. Looks good in the NBA uniform, does Marlon Taylor.
I like those Wizards uniforms.
They're pretty good.
They look good.
Best of luck to Marlon Taylor. Camp invite comes with the Exhibit 10 contract. It's basically a one-year deal that can end up in the G League as well.
That was awesome. He'll make it.
That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by KYSBestHemp.com. KYSBestHemp.com. Kentucky's best hemp. Had a buddy today ask me, say, what do I take this for? Got some of the oils. Like, what do I do? I was like, inflammation, anxiety, trouble sleeping. You get a little dropper. You just put a little drop under your tongue before you go to bed. Trust me, you'll enjoy it. They got the gel caps, capsules, the gummies, salve, cream, however you'd prefer to consume Kentucky's best hemp. They got it. Promo code AFR30 to save 30% off your order at KYSBestHemp.com. KYSBestHemp.com. Hour 3 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center and WilliamsonEYE.com. 924-2020. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEYE.com. Go for that free consultation. We're coming up on the holiday season. Maybe you want to give that loved one in your life the gift of sight. Maybe you want to do it for yourself. The Williamson Eye Center can make it happen. Trust Dr. Blake Williamson like I did. Dr. Blake Williamson did my LASIK more than 2 years ago. I'm still seeing better than 20/20. So many people, after they have LASIK, they say, man, best money I ever spent. Wish I'd done it years ago. I'm in that number as well. I can tell you definitively that LASIK is something that I wish I had done a decade ago. To be able to wake up in the morning and see, to be able to see the clock, to see the TV, to see street signs, to not have to worry about contacts or glasses or contact solution or anything like that. It's life-changing. Call the Williamson Eye Center. Go for your free consultation. 924-2020, 924-2020.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Fourth-ranked and unbeaten Ohio State will play Northwestern in the Big Ten title game. Athletic directors met today to set aside the 6-game minimum policy for eligibility. ESPN's Peter Burns.
The Big Ten pinned themselves into bad decision upon bad optics. And again, I think where it doesn't sit right with so many people is the fact of fans outside of the Big Ten go, well, wasn't this the conference that tried to shut down all of college football?
Peter Burns on Chiney and Golick Jr. 12th-ranked Indiana was supposed to host Purdue Saturday for the Old Oak and Bucket, but that game is now canceled with COVID-19 cases increasing at both campuses. The University of Washington football team pauses all team activities after an increase of COVID-19 cases in the program. The Huskies are scheduled to play at Oregon Saturday to decide the Pac-12 North race. From the NFL, the Steelers activate running back James Conner off the COVID-19 reserve list. He has missed the last 2 games.
We're back on Thursday, looking ahead to Super Bowl 53 rematch. Sort of. I'll tell you why Jared Goff can get the best of the Patriots this time around. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. And oh, by the way, it's hump day.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Josh Innes was here last hour.
Hump day.
He's so stupid.
It's hump day.
Russ Mitchell in 15 minutes.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
He gonna set it off.
Hump day.
Get the ding ready, Muso.
It's hump day.
I guarantee you there will be some wheeze when Russ is here.
What day is it, Mike?
Ben Stevens joined us in the last hour.
Hump day.
He's the host of Locked On Big Ten.
It's hump day.
The Big Ten are frauds.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
The NFL are frauds.
Hump day.
Calandro's Rare Whiskey Raffle tomorrow.
It's hump day.
Raising money for the 4 Kids Foundation.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Go buy some tickets at Calandro's.
Hump day.
Bid on their silent auction items.
It's hump day.
Hopefully win a bottle of rare whiskey.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
And then give it to me.
Hump day.
Okay, here we go. If you missed the big giant news in college football today, of course, is that the Big Ten has eliminated their 6-game minimum. I'm just saying it. I have to chuckle. They've eliminated their 6-game minimum. Of course, they implemented their minimum number of games played to play for the Big Ten Championship, which was an arbitrary rule that they put in. And now, because that was presumably going to keep Ohio State out of the Big Ten Championship, they've now eliminated that rule so Ohio State can play in the Big Ten Championship and get a sixth game. But I will say it to you right now. I said it the day that the Pac-12 came back amid a six-game schedule. I said, I would rather vomit on myself. I can go cue up the audio if you'd like. I said, I would rather vomit on myself than see a team play 6 games and get into the playoff. In no reality should an Ohio State team, even at 6-0, be in the college football playoff. I don't care what you think the best teams are. There is a reason that we play games. The results on the field have to matter. And you don't get to take a month off from the rest of the teams in the playoff and just walk right in. It's an incredible advantage because you're healthy and rested. And also, you've mitigated the risk of losing. What if Texas A&M didn't have to play their first month and they didn't play Alabama? I'll be damned. They'd be unbeaten right now. And why is Ohio State 4th and undefeated USC at 4-0 is 20th? What about Colorado? They're undefeated too. No love? Anyway, talk about more of that with Russ Mitchell in about 10 minutes. This was interesting. Mel Kiper and Todd McShay did a top 10 mock draft. And I was really I don't really care what they think, but I shouldn't say that. They're obviously two of the more notable and known draft experts out there. But they did a piece up at ESPN.com where it was sort of like a dueling mock draft just of the top 10 picks. And they kind of had a back and forth conversation, and then they came up with their consensus pick, who the pick would be. Not surprisingly, Jets, number 1 overall, Trevor. And they used current records, by the way. So they used the current draft order if the draft were today. So like Jets at 0-12, 1. Jacksonville at 1-11, 2, so on. They've got Trevor Lawrence 1, Justin Fields 2. So they feel like Justin Fields has elevated his stock enough, and obviously being a quarterback league, that he'd go 2 to Jacksonville. 3, the Bengals. They've got, thank God, Penei Sewell, the offensive lineman from Oregon. I don't care if they draft 7 offensive linemen. Save Joe Burrow's ACLs, please. 4 is the Chargers. Jamar Chase. The point that I've made many times throughout this year, we're starting to see illustrated. People keep asking, well, how do you stop opt-outs? You don't. I have one way to do it. But when the NFL consistently shows you that they don't care if you play in college, they don't care if you stick around for the bowl game, they don't care if you opt out. We saw that with Nick Bosa a couple of years ago. He was hurt at Ohio State. He decided, you know what? I'm just going to tap out, man. I'm going to get my body healed. I'm going to get right. He goes 2nd overall. We've seen it with guys who opt out of bowl games. And they're still drafted high. I mean, Leonard Fournette was the 4th overall pick. Opted out of the bowl game. It doesn't matter. The NFL doesn't care if you play in an exhibition. They prefer you not put yourself at risk. Remember the tight end from Michigan, Jake Butt, the great tight end, towards ACL in the Orange Bowl. Jalen Smith, the awesome linebacker from Notre Dame, now at the Cowboys. He almost lost his career because of an injury in the Fiesta Bowl. The NFL's okay with you not playing. And so here's Jamar Chase. They mock him 4th overall, the first receiver taken. Now, the flip side of that is by playing, you certainly can put out good film and elevate your draft stock. I mean, Devontae Smith, while he's a great receiver a year ago, he was overshadowed by Ruggs and Judy, and Waddle was on that team as well. I mean, he was just one of the guys on that team a year ago. He's fantastic, but now, because of the season he's had, these guys mock him 7 overall to Philly. So the top 10, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase 4 to the Chargers. Micah Parsons, the linebacker from Penn State, also, who's an opt-out, along with Penei Sewell. So again, Lawrence and Fields, top 2, the 3, 4, and 5 projected picks in the draft, all opted out. Sewell, Chase, and Parsons. They got Pat Surtain, 6 to Atlanta. They need help there. Devontae Smith, 7 to Philly. Kyle Pitts, the tight end from Florida, 8 to Carolina. You want to talk about another guy who benefited from playing this year? It's Kyle Pitts. He went out there. He completely showed out. He's been unguardable. He made himself tens of millions of dollars by playing this season. The big surprise on here, though, is Zach Wilson, 9 to the Lions. That's the big surprise. Relative unknown at quarterback from BYU, has a big season this year. Now they got him projected as a top 10 pick. I'm curious if that holds as we get closer to the draft. And then they've got the inside linebacker from Notre Dame. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I think I'm saying it right. But anyway, they got him going 10th to Denver. So again, Jamar Chase not hurt by the opt-outs. 3 quarterbacks in the top 10, including Zach Wilson, who they project 9th overall. And then the other thing that just made me sort of throw up in my mouth a little bit, Patrick Surtain and Devontae Smith in the top 10. Surtain was a self-admitted LSU lean throughout his entire recruiting process until LSU gagged away that commitment late in 2018. And then Devontae Smith is from a meet. Anyway. All right. It's after further review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, door siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138, 288-8138, or ReliefWindows.com. You can trust Brandon Holly. You can trust Relief Windows. I can't tell you how many times Brandon's told me those stories throughout the years of how they've had to come behind other window companies and fix poor installs. Don't be the person that has to pay twice. You think you're saving money up front by going with the company that's a few bucks cheaper, but in the long run, you're costing yourself. Do they actually have a lifetime warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage like Relief Windows does? Pay a little more to have it done right the first time and forever. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. I have mentioned, and I will continue to say, there is one thing, and one thing only. People keep asking, how do you prevent these opt-outs? What can you do? And there is one thing. There is one thing. It's not the NIL. Name, image, and likeness isn't going to prevent the opt-outs. If you're someone who has 200,000 followers on Instagram, you're still valuable as an Instagram influencer, whether you're playing college football or you've opted out. Bottom line. That's not going to prevent that. If you're in a position where you are valuable enough to opt out thinking about the next level, you're valuable enough as an influencer to make money with the NIL, whether you're playing or not. The only thing, the one thing, is expanding the playoff. I'll keep mentioning this. It's literally the only way. And not just because, like, if you go to 16, it's not just because you keep those 16 interested, but literally any team that feels like they still have a shot to get into the top 16 stays engaged. And that could be as much as the top 30 teams up until the final month or final couple of weeks of the season. Right? I mean, now as it is, you lose a game or two, you're out. No, for the playoff, you're no longer in. If you lose 2 games in September, you're toast. But think if it was 2001 LSU. That team kept getting better and better and better as the season went along. Come December, nobody wanted to play that team. They were rolling. They finished 8th in the country. What if that team got to play in a playoff? You know what I mean? Like, that's how. That's the singular carrot that you can dangle. Expand the playoff, and then every team that wants the opportunity, that's still late in the season, has the opportunity to get in. They stay engaged. That's the only thing you can do. Otherwise, just expect this. Expect opt-outs are going to continue to happen every single year. That Pandora's box has been opened, and there's no going back once you've started that trend and players see, like we just went through with that mock draft, you can opt out and still be a top 5 pick. You can be the number 1 pick in the draft. You can be the 4th pick in the draft, even after an opt-out, because the NFL doesn't care. They just want to know, can you play and are you healthy? All right, Russ Mitchell joins us next.
AFR.
Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery. Love telling you about Clegg's. Earlier in this week, I talked to Miss Teresa. Said the Christmas tree lot is pretty picked over, the live tree lot. They still have some. So if you're late to the game, you can still go shop there. They have a great selection of artificial trees. If you need lights or Christmas decor, Clegg's Nursery has you. but they have got a ton of poinsettias. The selection is incredible. Grown locally in their greenhouses, so you know that these plants will last because they're acclimated to South Louisiana because they were grown here in their local greenhouses. They're beautiful, and they got a great selection. Indoor or outdoor for this holiday season, you need your poinsettias. Get them at Clegg's Nursery. Also, great gift ideas. A gift card for the gardener on your list, wind chimes, other decor. They've got it at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Toyotathon is happening right now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Get into a 20 Camry for $297 a month. Come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
I think Russ is going to be a great coach in college football.
Russ Mitchell.
Kicking the tires and lighting the fires. Russ! Literally.
Well, I'm proud of Russ. I think Russ deserves it.
If they give you a nickname, you're good. Rusty, come on up here.
I'm getting tired of saying Tigers. There's too many Tigers in the league already.
I want you to stay here and take care of things, Russ.
You know, I mean, they're going to run this kid around like a rented step-headed mule.
You know, I haven't had much of a chance to talk to you man to man, Russ.
I'm a guy who spends all day breaking down Kentucky football.
Not going in our yard, Russ. It's going in our living room.
And I'm calling you out, man. We'll cut this clip and send it out there to Spurrier and the fellas.
It's like Troy.
Take it, Russ.
All right, let's do it. Russ Mitchell, college football news on Twitter at Russ Mitchell CFB, with us every Wednesday, courtesy of our friends at South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. How are you, sir?
I'm tires and lighting the fires, baby.
You sound excited today.
Well, I just thought, I thought I should pretend and try to bring a little energy.
Do you want to talk about the massacre?
No.
I would like you to mention something about it.
Sure you would.
Well, I mean...
what do you want to know, man? You want to know what everybody else around the country is saying about you? You want to know what people ask me when I go on other stations in other states?
Sure.
They, nobody can wrap their arms around what's happened here. I've listened to so many people who've never met Ed Ogeron talk about Ed Ogeron like they, country club with the guy. But I think it's just because this is so outside of, and I know it's been a crazy year all the way around. In fact, this year has sucked. But, this shouldn't happen. This never happened. I mean, in the span of 12 months, LSU has gone from having arguably the greatest single season in the history of college football to maybe the worst single season, given all the talent in the history of college football. Back to back.
Mm-hmm.
And, I heard your show on Monday. I had to tune in. I cleared off my slate. I told my secretary, I'm like, make sure I've got nothing going on for the first hour of Matt Moscona's show on Monday.
Thank you for your loyalty.
Yeah, and I have very little to add. I think you summed it up very well by saying the only thing that you can absolutely take as a 100% guarantee is change is coming.
Do you want to talk about what you think that change should be, or is that premature right now?
Oh, it's not premature at all. You got to make some serious changes on the defensive side of the football because that's just not working. It's not even embarrassing anymore, man. It's past embarrassing. So I don't know what, what the hell? Look, man, Bo Pelini has forgotten more about football than I'll ever know, all right? And I watch it 8 hours a day. And why isn't your best, especially when you're getting burned over and over and over, why don't you have your best defensive player on their best offensive player?
Yeah.
Did you ever get an answer to that? A real answer. Did you get a real answer?
Nope.
I don't know. There's way too much talent on this team. I don't care that they're all young and that they haven't played a lot. There's way too much talent on this team to have this. It's not the losing. Sure, you lose. Maybe you go 3-8. Maybe, whatever. But to get absolutely annihilated, the largest point spread loss ever to Auburn in the history of the rivalry, the largest deficit ever to Alabama in the history of the rivalry. Come on, man. Come on. There's way too much talent on this team for that. So yeah, there needs to be quite a bit of change, but I can tell you where the first change needs to happen.
Do you have any ideas who should replace him?
How much time do you have? Because right now, you know what? Let's wait till the end of the season and then talk about that.
Okay. So Monday was the day that I did the big, loud, yelling, all that stuff. Do you know that? So that was December 7th. That was the 1-year anniversary of the SEC championship game. against Georgia.
Yep. Yeah.
1 year removed. Now, granted, 1 year ago, the SEC championship in Georgia was not a good day for me personally.
No.
Because I was horribly sick. I mean, it was the worst day of my broadcast career. I had to sit in the SEC Fan Fest with marching bands behind me. I had to sit next to T-Bob for 5 hours with no voice, a pounding head, body aches, fever, cold, and for 5 hours do a broadcast while I felt like mud. That sucked. LSU did win the SEC that day.
Yes, they did. It's interesting. We talk about this season, right? And, I mean, if you actually sit back and you think about how, this season, the Big Ten sucks. Most of the teams in the SEC have done poorly. The Pac-12 has done poorly. The Big 12 sucks. The Sun Belt has won most of the big games in the Big 12, right?
They did, yeah.
Michigan sucks. LSU sucks. Oregon sucks. Florida State sucks. Wisconsin sucks. Penn State sucks. Michigan sucks. Even the big game sucks, right? Before the season, Alabama, LSU was supposed to be big. It didn't even make it past the first quarter. What a joke! Can't you just stop them once in the first half, man? Can't you make them walk off the field after anything other than scoring points? It was like the Oklahoma LSU semifinal game, man.
It was.
Penn State at Michigan, actually, that didn't suck, but it was sad, but it didn't suck. They're just you could even argue the Notre Dame-Clemson game, which was, an exciting overtime game, it sucked because Trevor Lawrence wasn't there. This has been a pretty disappointing season. I'm glad we had it. Don't get me wrong. But LSU's performance this year is the height of all of that suckiness.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable. It's just unacceptable. I know you lost a ton of time. It's just an excuse. There's 5-star, 4-star recruits all over that field. And again, we're not talking about just losing. We're talking about being humiliated. And the craziest thing, can I say something? You watch LSU and you're being objective. It's not like the kids are quitting. They're not quitting. They just seem to always be in the wrong place.
Yeah.
So whose fault is that?
Well, it's the coaches.
Yes. In one game, you could maybe say, all right, by the way, I was looking at Mississippi State and just how terrible Mississippi State has been since they annihilated LSU. And how about the Missouri quarterback who's only thrown 5 touchdowns all season? 4 of them came against y'all. Come on, man. That's epically bad. Y'all are going to look back at this season 100 years from now, and you're going to be like, that was on par as the single worst season in the history of LSU football.
Connor Bazelak has thrown 5 touchdowns all year.
4 of them.
Holy crap, I didn't even realize that.
Wake up, baby, that's why you got me here.
He's thrown for a lot of yards. Man.
Pat can't throw touchdowns unless it's against LSU. Which tells you what?
I got to add that to the. I got to go back and redo my rant from Monday and add that to the list.
Brother? Guess what? You're going to have another chance.
Oh, I know. Well, no, man. The point's been made. At this point, it's beating the dead horse. What's going to happen on Saturday in Gainesville is going to be just heinous. But anyway.
Oh, if I'm Florida, and look, you know what? Let's be honest. Let's be brutally honest. As long as we're being honest, let's be brutally honest, right? Because that's the first step. You have to, what is it that they say? You've got to acknowledge in order to change or something like that, right? All right. Alabama could have beaten LSU by 100.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Y'all weren't going to stop them. Not even close. I mean, slot chasing.
Poor guy. He's not a bad player, Russ. It's just they instead of putting Derek Stingley, the best defensive back in the country, on Devontae Smith, they put a sophomore who's not in Devontae Smith's class. Flott's a good player. Flott played a good game against Texas A&M. He's going to be a really good player. He's just not in that realm yet.
I mean, it was like watching somebody's little brother chasing after, a big brother who's like, a 15-year-old being chased by his 9-year-old.
I know.
They could have scored 100. But say everything you want about Saban, and he's the Darth Vader and all that, right? But that's just not his style. He'll score an extra touchdown late in the game to look pretty, but once it's pretty, it's not his style.
Yeah.
Mullen will score as many. I mean, he's not Brett Bielema, but y'all better lace him on really tight on Saturday because he's not past throwing 70 on you.
All right, we're going to preview Saturday when we come back. Sit tight. Russ Mitchell's with us. Our conversations are brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. We'll continue with Russ to preview the slate ahead. Stick around, AFR.
AFR.
Had lunch today with my guys over at River City's 1 Hour Air with Matt and Paul over there. We had a great lunch, man. I'm always impressed by their commitment to service and also the knowledge of their products and their industry. I got this review from Patricia LeBlanc. Said 1 hour is always available when I call. I trust them. They're very nice. When we make an appointment, they always send me a picture of the technician who's coming out. Then he'll call me when he's on the way. The tech, Britt Holden, has been here several times, is always nice, knowledgeable, professional. He takes his time explaining things to me so that I'll understand what's going on. Thank you, Britt, and I'll see you next time. That's a review from a customer, just like you. That's Patricia LeBlanc who sent that in. River City's 1 Hour Air. They came and redid my whole system this year. If it's standard maintenance, it's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas.
and I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating health.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Russ Mitchell and every guest on AFR receive a gift from Dead Soxy, deadsoxy.com, S-O-X-Y, deadsoxy.com. Remember, get there if you're shopping for that holiday gift. If you need, I was going to say the sock wearer on your list, but everybody wears socks, so go buy Dead Soxy. They're guaranteed to stay in place. Check them out, deadsoxy.com. Of course, they got the college socks. So you go shop the selections. They got dress socks and no-shows. They've got athletic lounger socks as well. So check them out, deadsoxy.com. S-O-X-Y, deadsoxy.com. The new standard in premium dress socks is Dead Soxy. All right, Russ Mitchell is with us. All right, let's preview this weekend. Let's just get this out of the way. We talked a little bit about it, but LSU, Florida this weekend, just out of obligation because it's on the schedule. Give me some reason to watch this if I'm an LSU fan who knows his team's going to get, beaten badly again. Just give me some reason to watch this.
By the way, I'm wearing my Dead Soxies right now.
Are you really?
I am. In fact, I'm wearing my Dead Soxies in a Volkswagen.
Didn't you say that there were only two reasons that a man would give another man socks?
He's being paid to do it, or they really work.
I think there was another reason you threw in there.
So, Florida. Amazing, just amazing how far we've come in a year. But, maybe Florida's thinking about the SEC championship game next week, right? They don't have a ground game. They don't have a really good ground game, and I think LSU's defensive front has shown that they can put a little bit of pressure on a quarterback. So, those are some things that you're hoping for, that they're distracted, that they can't run the ball, and that you can put pressure on Trask.
Any point in talking about Bama, Arkansas?
In the last three, Arkansas has lost their last three games, and they've allowed. We were praising the defense so much in the first half of the year. They've given up 1,500 yards in those three losses. And
so Barry Odom's not good?
And now I still think he's good. I just don't think I think their horses are running a little thin. They've had some COVID issues too, but so has everybody. Here comes Alabama, who put on 6,500 yards against LSU on Saturday. So, I'm pretty sure they're going to have an easy time with Bama.
Georgia is at Mizzou. Georgia's still playing for a New Year's Six slot, and Mizzou got a win last week against Arkansas with a walk-off field goal. And don't look now, man. Mizzou's ranked. Russ, this actually could be impactful for the SEC teams in the playoff because right now Missouri is a ranked win.
Missouri is 5-3 with a quarterback who only has 5 passing touchdowns.
Explain that.
Mm-hmm. 4 of them.
No, really explain that because I haven't seen Missouri play except for when they played LSU.
They're getting yards, they're moving the ball, and I think that their defense. Georgia's. If you're a Missouri fan, and you're right, this is going to be a good game. Missouri can win this game. By the way, Missouri at home is 5-1. The Tigers are 5-1 at home. So everyone thinks Georgia will win. Obviously, they're favored, but I think this game will be a lot tighter. again, in games you're always looking for matchups, right? So what has Vasilek done well, right? He doesn't score a lot of touchdowns.
He played LSU.
He plays LSU really well. But what he does really well is dinking and dunking. And as good as this Georgia defense is, right, it's the second best in the SEC, doesn't allow a lot of big plays, but you can dink and dunk against this secondary. It's the weakness of this Georgia defense is quarterbacks that are good, 5 to 15 yards down the field. And that's what this kid, Connor Vasilek, can do. So you add that into the mix, combined with the fact that it's home, combined with the fact that Missouri's playing well, and they're 5-1 in that cute little stadium there. So, I with the rocks, just
rocks in the end zone.
It's precious. I've seen high school stadiums that are more, formidable than that stadium. Anyway, I like Georgia, but I think the spread is double digits, and I think that's crazy. I think this will be a much tighter game. Wouldn't surprise me if Missouri wins this game, actually.
Okay. Tennessee and Vanderbilt will make up their game. We'll get to see if we see Sarah Fuller again. I take it back. I did see Missouri play because I watched them play Vanderbilt because I wanted to see Sarah Fuller. But so Tennessee at Vanderbilt, 2-6, 0-8. Does Vandy get their only win of the season, or does Pruitt salvage? Well, maybe his job, because if he loses to Vanderbilt, he might get fired.
Oh, good God, he'll get fired if he loses to Vanderbilt. Come on. I mean, if Saban lost to Vanderbilt this year, even Saban might get fired, right? Tennessee can't move the ball, not even a little bit. In the last 5 games, they haven't scored 20 points or more in the last 5 games, right? This is a team desperately in need of a win, and here comes Vandy.
Yeah.
So, they're the last game they lost 41-0. So, I think I would say, Tennessee's got the least, most efficient pass defense. And the one thing that kid seals, he can throw the ball. So maybe. And the fact that, all you got to do is score 3 touchdowns and you beat Tennessee. But I don't think Vandy can score 3 touchdowns against anybody.
Vandy can't score. All right. The only game that has a spread inside of a touchdown is Auburn at Mississippi State at 6.5. This could actually. I was really looking forward to Texas A&M Ole Miss. I'm bummed that one's been postponed because that one was really the one on the slate where I was like, God, that could be fun. All right, well, Auburn Mississippi State will have to do then. This is in Stark Vegas, baby. So give me some thoughts here on Auburn hitting the road.
I think the spread here is wrong too. I think the spread here is wrong. I think it's too short, too small. And I think the spread in the Georgia game is too big. I think that'll be a much closer game. Look, where has Auburn struggled this year? It's been against teams that could run the ball, right? A&M, Tennessee, Ole Miss, right? Even South Carolina ran the ball against Auburn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mike Leach has the nation's worst running team. Dead last in the entire country. This is not a bad matchup for Auburn. I like the faux Tigers in this game. I think they'll cover easily.
All right, Russ Mitchell, college football news on Twitter at Russ Mitchell CFB. Our conversation is brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. Before you go, I would love a thought on what the Big Ten did today. We're short on time, but what the Big Ten did today in allowing Ohio State to backdoor into their championship game.
I mean, is anybody surprised? Really? Is anybody surprised?
No. I just think they're all frauds.
But they're all frauds. I mean, look, the Buckeyes have been the whole when they created this nonsense with only, and I was still in favor because it was 4 instead. But I argued at that time with Bill Hancock, that this is not going to really change very much, and it hasn't, right? If you look at the controversy, the Buckeyes, Ohio State has been at the center of playoff controversy in 4 of the last 6 years, and now they're headed towards 5 of the last 7 years. Otherwise, it's the same schools. Look, of the 24 playoff spots to date, 3/4 of them have been filled by Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama, and Oklahoma. 3/4.
Yeah.
So we created a system that we thought might get us more distribution.
Inclusion, yeah.
Yeah, it's done the exact opposite. I mean, you could argue they're probably the same two. Of those four, they were going to be chosen for the two. But if you really want to see a playoff, don't get me wrong, I like the 4-game playoff. I mean, I like 4 better than 2. But what I would really like to see is I want to see, the best Big 5 team, I want to see the best Group of 5 team play, I don't know, what would be a good example this year? Play Notre Dame. I want to see Oklahoma play, even though they're not, whoever wins the Big 12, I want to see them play Alabama. I want to see if Alabama beats them by 50. It's one extra game.
So, for example, this year you would have Ohio State against Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, I think this year is not the best example of years.
No, but listen, but Russ, I've said this and by the way, the only way that you solve opt-outs is expanding the playoff. You keep more teams interested. You give them more of a chance. You lose a game or two, guys opt out because they have no shot. You expand a playoff, you keep teams engaged.
Yeah. And we've talked about it. It will ultimately, at the end of the day, there's so much money that's being directed towards these early season games, these September games. They're big ticket games, the first week and the second week of the season. And if you made it that you could you could go out of conference and go play a big opponent, else you could go play whatever, Ohio State. And if you lose it, you're not out, right? Because, there's not only if you win your conference, you're definitely in, plus there's 2 extra spots at the end, right? Then oh my goodness. The first 2 weeks of September would be heaven.
Yeah.
I mean, there'd be all these monster games in the beginning of the season instead of just 6 or 7, You'd have like 20.
I know.
It would make so much money, and it would be great for all of us.
I know. We'll keep fighting the good fight.
We'll get there, slowly but surely.
Enjoy your weekend. As always, we appreciate the time, and we'll do it again next week into the middle of December. So weird.
Hey, enjoy the game this weekend in Gainesville.
Shut up. He's Russ Mitchell, college football news. He's with us every Wednesday, brought to you by South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. All right, it's after further review. Final break. Otter Locks is next.
AFR.
If you need dinner plans tonight, Ichiban is always a great option. You know where they are. Essen near Perkins, voted by you the best sushi and best hibachi in the Best of 225 awards. Try a Moscona roll. Remember, at Ichiban, they've got all-weather patio dining as well. So you can sit outside in their comfortable outdoor furniture. They've got TVs outdoors on the patio as well there at Ichiban. Essen near Perkins. When it's cold outside, they have the space heaters as well to keep you warm. So all-weather patio dining at Ichiban. If you want to dine outside, if you want to take it to go, they've got curbside delivery as well. Pull up, call the number. They'll bring your order out to you. That's at Ichiban. Essen near Perkins, the best sushi and best hibachi in the Best of 225 awards. And from our friends at Ichiban, their newest concept is Boru Ramen, authentic Japanese ramen. This ain't the 50-cent ramen in a bag, y'all. This is a dining experience where they hand make every noodle in-house. Boru in Electric Depot on Government Street.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, we welcome aboard Jimmy out for Auto Locks. You know the Auto Locks drop? No Auto Locks drop?
Man.
No Auto Locks drop? Okay. Don't worry about it, Muse. Muso, you're fired. Not really. You're welcome back anytime. Jimmy out for Auto Locks. How are you, Otter? Hey, by the way, cash in, don't look now. The Otter is hot. He's got back-to-back winners. He gave you Buffalo on Monday. Ching, ching. He gave you Iowa last night, which I played. Ching, ching. What we got tonight, Otter? Let it ride. Give me another winner, Otter.
Boy, the pressure. It is light card in college hoops tonight.
All right.
So,
I don't need excuses. I need winners, damn it.
I'm just tempering the expectations. My point is, this is not my favorite. Favorite card tonight. But if you must, there are two games in the ACC Big Ten Challenge that I'm eyeing. How about the Big Ten? Boy, right out to shoot 6-1 last night, and some decisive ones as well, including our Iowa. But Nebraska, Georgia Tech, I like Georgia Tech a little bit, but a little bit more. The one on ESPN at 6:30. That was a time slot that was very good to us last night, right? Florida State, last year's ACC champions, off to a solid start this year. They returned 70% of their minutes from a year ago. Indiana is just kind of same old since they've been over the last. And Florida State has 3 7-footers on their roster.
I didn't know that. Wow, and they're at home too.
Got a little size, which we're definitely not putting too much on the home and away this year. But Florida State, a mild, what's going up a little bit, up to 3.5. You tell me what you're showing. You might be able to find a 3.
I'm looking at 3.5, but I would love to get 3. I bought the half a point last night, Otter. Didn't need it, brother. We're talking rocking chair cover, dog. I was like, look at that. Out the chute, double digits in the first 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, Otter.
Look. What's the new place that Ichiban has downtown?
Bo Roo Ramen. Yeah.
Bo Roo.
look, this is a ramen plate tonight, okay? Just, let's not overboard. Not overboard. It's not a big steak dinner, but the Boru ramen, which is good, by the way, really good.
It's so good.
So, this is just a small little plate tonight. We'll be firing back again on Thursday.
All right, where are you tonight, Otter?
Snow Seafood and Steak, right around the corner from where you are right now. So come on by and see us on your way home. So, hey, man, we're creeping up on our 50-year anniversary over here at Snow. So we're in one of the banquet rooms in the back over here with a big indoor fireplace and just having a good time. There's people who are dining outside and, man, a little bit of everything on the menu, man. A little bit of everything for Mr. Todd and Candy Sheets. Second-generation restaurant over here in Gonzales. We appreciate it, man.
Y'all go see the Otter tonight at Snow's. They're in Gonzales on Airline. Easy to find if you're just going south on Airline. Or listen to Game Time with Jimmy Ott following us here in BR or online at 1045ESPN.com. Thank you, Otter.
Hey, one question.
Yeah.
Erica on a bandwagon yet? You know how she gets.
I'll have to ease her back on. She's fading the Otter, man. She's fading the Otter. All right, Jimmy. Thanks, man. Have a good show.
All right, man.
All right, that is Jimmy Ott. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us. Again, you can stream it at 1045ESPN.com, or, of course, you can watch the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. Musa, what did you learn tonight?
If the Saints win the Super Bowl, Josh Ennis is going to church.
He did say that. Paul, what did you say?
Danny Elling's the new bubble boy.
He is.
Matt, what did you learn?
$48,000 raised already for the Calandro's Rare Whiskey Raffle for the 4Kids Foundation. Incredible. Y'all go to Calandro's, get your tickets. Rare Whiskey Raffle is tomorrow at 6:30. See you tomorrow.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, we remind you about Shawbills. Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. It is the holidays, you know that, and many people will be traveling for the holidays. So make sure you go to Shawbills before you get on the road. My sister just came in town for Thanksgiving from Kansas. She's staying here with the kiddos until Christmas. Then she and the kids and her husband are driving back to Kansas. You better believe before they get on the road, they're going to bring that minivan to Shawbills, get the tires rotated, get the oil changed, get the brakes checked. Before you get on the road this holiday season, Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Schedule service online at ShawbillsTire.com. Search tires at ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, where they are hiring as well for all locations. Apply online or in person. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.